Night Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
against the USA in golf's Ryder Cup. From Sky News, I'm Annie Green.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call and get talking across the northeast, please, because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Greetings, felicitations and similar noises. Alan Robson with you, slightly huskier than normal, as seems to be the case. Most greatest party nights. Today the party for the 40th anniversary of the glorious Great North Run. It's back. Hoorah! To everybody I saw there, thank you very much for popping by. I was running on about 300 selfies an hour. It was ridiculous. But lovely to see, so thanks for popping by. Tonight I thought we would go down that route because it's been an amazing day. I want your getting fit stories, your sports stories, your running stories, your jogging stories, your lifting weights, your playing different sports stories. Just the horrible story. Met a lad called Gavin. He's never been able to run long distances, but he's always wanted to do the Great North Run. So immediately after last year that he watched from the sidelines, he started training big style. He's done a year of training to get himself up to having the capability to run 13, 14 miles as if it were nothing. And it's certainly something. And he got off a bus to come down for the Great North Run, turned his ankle on the curb. His ankle went up like a pudding. He's broken it. So another Great North Run missed. But we wish him well. If you want to find out your sporty stories, and we know most of you that have done the run are lathered now in embrocation of one sort or another. And you can use embrocation for a variety of reasons. He's hit his man, which is not acceptable. So the next time you wash his underpants, get some deep heat to spray.
No.
And just spray the deep heat all over the crotch area and say nothing and just leave it that way. And when he comes in and he's crying a bit and sobbing and he's had a real rough day and he has to explain to his mum, my weenie's a bit sore, which is a horrible thing for a child to have to admit. Well, then you can say, and it will be so every day that you are evil to your mother. For your mother washes your pants. There you are. Had some great memories. I talked to a lot of people today who were there for the very first time, a very first Great North Run. Oh yes, Nigel. I played rugby for a good 15 to 20 years and picked up one or two injuries, but I was always proud that I'd never broken my nose. In the last game I played before packing it all in, I collapsed in a mall, got a knee in the face and smashed my nose. The nose is tricky. I've had 5 breaks, 2 caused by people who I was going to get out of houses because they've been brutalised by the boyfriends or husbands. 2 of them, 2 sporty ones and a fighty one. And the nose is roughly in the middle now. I've also got hit with a spade a while back, and I don't know whether you can see that. There's a big scar down there because my nose was in tune. Blimey, sound like I should be in Durham prison. The way it got on. It was all for the best, said he optimistically. Let's have a few of those magical memories of the Great North Run.
Run for home. Remind
reminds us of many years when I was younger. Obviously, every year when the Great North Run was on in September, as a kid, you had your sponges, you had your buckets, you know, stand along and selling by your basket, running along. You used to have often run into your toilets, coming at the loo. I was just stand on top of the bridge and get my buckets of water and high water on them and stuff like that. But it's fantastic.
So what are your memories of the Great North? 40 years worth of memories. Tell me yours. And we're talking about sport. That includes the cycling brigade.
If they damage your car, there's not really what you can do about that.
We can't identify them from the number plate they don't have. You know, that's the thing. So maybe it will be plating up every bike so that they can be identified. Do you think that's a go or not? What do you reckon? I also want to bring in a second topic for you to talk about. And it was interesting because I got this lengthy email discussing road hogs, old-fashioned term road hogs, but it's cars that get in your way on purpose and they jump in front of you and they undercut you and they overtake you and they kind of cut you up a bit. And this lady, whose name is Lindsay, says, road hogs, who do you hate on the road? Who drives you mad while you're driving? And also, if you want to ring in tonight and you got a message or you want us to give you a call, you can WhatsApp your message by ringing 07863 431 837. Handy for you to... I know you already know the other number off by heart. You can still ring that if you wish. But if you want to WhatsApp it, can't say WhatsApp without it being WhatsApp. It's a bit like WhatsApp. 07863 431 837. 07863 431 837 if you want to WhatsApp. Yeah. The other topic I mentioned, the whole driving thing.
When I bumped somebody, her car seat, which was fastened in, ended up over the top of the front passenger seat.
What?
Scary. Oh,
could have smashed somebody's head in it travelling at speed.
I mean, imagine if it had a been in the back of there.
Oh,
it was just
yeah.
The noise, it was shocking.
Terrifying. And let's talk about some dangerous drivers.
It was early hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Daylight was just kicking in, and to be fair, I was doing about 80, 85, and I looked in my side mirror, and I was aware of this car coming down pretty hard in the outside lane. And Alan, I'm not joking. You know what if I lie? When I turned and looked like that as this car passed, it was a woman. There was a magazine on the steering wheel. She's looking in the mirror, putting makeup on. I couldn't believe my eyes. I looked down and thought, I'm doing 85. You have to be doing more than 100. The way you just shot past me, then you're doing that. I thought, that's absolutely outrageous.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I see people texting and just general people that haven't really got a clue how to drive as times change. And I just think something should be done about it, because I see accidents all the time. And it's people doing daft stuff that they shouldn't really be doing.
On saying it though, Richie, I have to say, you just mentioned, well, I was doing 85. Is that not part of the problem?
Yes, I agree with you there. I was breaking a law myself, yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just this once. I didn't mean to do it. Easy excuses. And are men the worst or the best? Let's have your view. A few quick things that I'm getting onto the calls as quick as we can. Emma Raducanu, incredible result in the tennis. How good was that? We've been told that COVID passports won't be needed in clubs, football matches, pubs, that kind of thing. Are you glad about that? Have you any churgy in your house? We're being asked, churgy. You never heard of churgy before, but apparently churgy is the opposite of trendy. So have you anything that is not remotely trendy in your house? Share it with us. Clever Calvert says, what do you think of Bruce blaming the Chronicle for Toon fans disliking him? It's a tad desperate, isn't it, really? Isabel Renforth, run cross-country as a kid. Sadly, now I'm an old bag. Me boobs would knock me out. Is there no way you can firm them up again? You know, like bingo wings. You can do stretches. Is there not anything you can... I don't know. Swinging them about? I have no idea. Jackie Bryant, I did the Great North Run in 83 with my sister. Never been sporty, thought I'd give it a go with very little training, and I did finish the run. The hardest part was going down the hill just before turning onto the seafront. My sister and I ran together until that point when she shot away to beat me. I was given some advice before I started the run. Don't forget Vaseline for your legs. But I didn't. And at the end of the run, I realised you don't put it behind your neck. No. There's a lot of people with it slapped all over the place at the moment. Good luck to each and every one. Other things we want you talking about. Taxes are going to go up massively. A lot of people blaming the lockdown for it, but it's actually mainly Brexit, would you believe? A lot of the business that they told us that we would have automatically we're not getting, and we haven't got people to drive stuff, and we haven't got people to work in hotels, and we haven't got people to work in the fruit industry, and we haven't got people to... Yeah. How do you think things are going? The government are going to go back on their promise to pensioners for the extra £7. They're not getting it. Also, a charity at the Great North Run today raising cash for Afghan women to break free of the Taliban, who have claimed Afghanistan. 15% support for the Taliban, 85% don't want them there, but they got them. And many claim they will never go abroad again. Joyce says the racists wanting Britain out of Europe have ruined it, and our lives will all be the worse for it, says Joyce. She's never going abroad again. Is that what it was about? I don't think it was ever about whether we go on holiday. I know it's a nightmare to get anywhere at the moment. Football violence, is that coming back too? And also, do you have problems parking outside your own house? I want to know. 0191 488 3188. Let's get cracking, and let's start with John, who is from Heaton in Newcastle. And let's find out how he got on today in the Great North Run. Hello, John.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Good to hear from you. And I think you're the John that got it. You were one of my selfie bunch.
That was correct, yes. Many hours ago. About, 12 o'clock, I think it was?
It feels like 2 days ago now. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, I think I only just managed to walk.
Good lad.
And, I'm just getting there. But, yeah, this is the fourth time I've done this run.
I would have thought first thing you do, you get home, you maybe have something to eat, or do you just pile straight in the shower or the bath?
Well, basically, my girlfriend ran an Orbis bath, so literally it was ready for me to get in. So
wow.
That's eased the legs very nicely.
Fantastic.
And literally just sitting, having a couple of drinks just to celebrate, and we've got you on for a few hours this evening. So.
Tremendous. Thank you, John. Good man. Hey, how was it? Because this was the, as I described it all day, the wonky Great North Run, because this was the one that tootled around places where nobody had ever been before. How was it?
It was a very strange experience, especially because I applied at last minute, knowing it was going to be a one-off run,
right?
With a different course. So I said, right, I applied end of June, early July. I said,
right.
Okay, let's give it a go. My training has been great.
Uh-huh.
The course itself wasn't too bad until the last couple of miles. The minute you get to the Sutherland bypass roundabout, the hills from there back to the town moor was a tester, and I've got a lot of people who I'm friends with have said exactly the same.
I heard from so many people that the last probably 3/4 of a mile was like climbing a mountain. It was all kind of uphill, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely so. I think that definitely the uphill downhill was definitely the tester of this year, where we'd all know with the usual route it's a very steady incline, and then you get the big drop at the 11 mile mark, and then you got the last mile, and then you run along South Shields Beach. Now, one of the other things as well is then when you finish running, one thing that I didn't realise is how uneven the town moor is.
Oh.
So when you're trying to walk over the town moor after you've just done 13 miles, you're trying to make sure you don't stand in a pothole or just basically uneven grass.
Now, I did that exact walk on the way in and on the way out, because all of our cars were in that car park, the one at the top end, just as you come in from Grandstand Road. And and it was like, I'm so used to parking in the exhibition park where you essentially go through a gate and you're there. And I thought, they've obviously moved where I'm going to be this year, because everybody's doing different stuff this year. So I'll just park there and walk in. You needed sponsorship just to get to the start.
Oh, definitely so. And I wasn't sure where you were going to hide that. It's only when I dropped my bag off, I started walking towards the start line, and I heard your voice, and I heard the hurrah, like one of your very famous words, like, great, I can hear Alan, great. One of the biggest things that I've missed is when you've done the start line many a year, when you've got your friend who does the fitness sort of like 20 minutes, where you like get your blood
warm up
moving,
done, absolutely.
warm up, yeah, and that is definitely one of the biggest misses this year. Is everyone warming up at the same time?
Yeah.
Where it felt like going through an airport where you had your different stages, or where you had to check in.
That's exactly what it was like. Hey, everybody that took part in putting it together did the best they could under the constriction that they had. It was all for your safety and your security. Bottom line is, fingers crossed, it's what everybody said. Can't wait to get back to normal next year, because it's a well-oiled machine, the way that it works. And this year it was a bit, ooh. And we were all aware of it, but hey, it's happened. Number 40's in the can. We got all of that money raised for charity. Couldn't be happier. So hey, congratulations, John.
Well, thank you very much. And the charity that I run for as well, I had leukemia just over 20 years ago, diagnosed with RVI, and the charity that I run for is someone that is helping the children who either need the research for leukemia or being at the ward at the Great North Children's Hospital, where I was at the old RVI 20 years ago. So I feel like it's a great cause that I run for, and many of the other charities out there that people run for, all great stuff.
Fantastic. And as I say, all of those charities completely starved for the last 18 months or so. It's just tremendous that the coffers are opening up again and giving them a chance to make a difference. Good stuff, John. Love to you, and thanks for coming down. Lovely to see you. In regards to the missus, you have your lady superbly trained. Mind you, to have a bath full of the smellies just waiting for you. Blame me, I bet that felt good.
Yeah, Sunday dinner as well, which we'll end up eating shortly. I'm just getting my appetite back now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't sit down and eat straight away after all of
no,
that.
definitely not. And if I can't eat it now, it'll be lunch tomorrow.
I was going to say, because you're saying, it's getting it ready now because I'm just getting my appetite back. Hell's teeth, you've left that late. But
Well, yeah, I think it's one of those things where, appetite was like hit and miss. And go back to the run, Alan. If you think about the last 2 miles, it doesn't help when you're running like past the likes of Five Guys in the city centre in the last mile. That did not do any favours.
Well, I know, but as soon as you finish, you've got to go past all those hog roast vans and chip vans and all of that. It's like, this is the event for the fittest people in the north, and here's the temptation for you as well. Hey, it's good stuff.
Oh, definitely so.
Absolute respect to your lady as well. She's played a blinder too. Lovely meeting you, John. Thanks for coming up, man.
Right, great to see you as well.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
See you later.
There you go. How about that? Great North Run today. Were you there? What were you up to? We are Greatest Hits Radio Northeast, and we're here for you. So if you would like to talk about absolutely anything, well, you can certainly do that.
Hi everybody, welcome. Do you know where you are? Do you have any concept of what this place is? You can hear from the traffic passing by behind you that you're very, very close to a major thoroughfare, and yes you are. We're in a place called Hochtuna. Is this your first time at Hochtuna?
It's my first time in here, but I've been at Horton this spring.
Horton Le Spring is exactly where it is. Why is it Hochtuna? Hoch, a tun is a small village,
Right.
and a hoch is a small hill, so we're on a hill, as you can tell.
Right.
It's settlement on a hill, Hochtuna. And in 1193, this land was given to a French nobleman whose surname was...
I would say it's a French one, but it's got to be. Oh, is it Hock?
Le Spring.
Oh, right.
The Duc de Spring.
Right.
So, suddenly, Hochtuna Le Spring.
It wasn't Zebedee, was it?
No, it wasn't. Hochtuna Le Spring. So, Horton Le Spring. But then they discovered in the town centre, and I don't know even how many people in Horton know this, there is medicinal springs that run right through the town. Now, it used to be like a tributary that went through the centre of the town, and you could see it, and you could bathe in it, and it was supposed to give you good health. Now they've put a culvert in, so the spring runs beneath the roads.
Right.
Fascinating. And who is this place famous for? Not this place, but Horton, the birthplace of murderess Mary Ann Cotton.
No way.
This is the birthplace of the man who created Buggles.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Trevor Horn.
Trevor Horn.
He also did. He did all of the high quality stuff. He worked with Frankie, Ghost Hollywood for a while. He also did that really cool bit on Owner of a Lonely Heart for Yes. Yeah. So there's one other person, Jaff from the Future Heads. He's from here as well. Right. Yeah. This is called Hillside Cemetery. Now, why is it important? It's spooky as hell. It's got amazing stuff going on. Let's get in. I can tell you everything else as we go. We've just making sure that we did have to have a slight conversation with the police before we came in here, but all is well. Right, let's get in. Hillside Cemetery is very, very famous. It's got a lot of famous people attached to it, and some incredible war stories and some awful blood, gory, nasty tales from Horton Colliery. Never been here before, never walked it. Let's walk it together and see what we shall see. There's farms nearby. It's bucketing down. Yes, we're going to get wet, but it's for a good cause. What is that? What?
Is it a coven, isn't it?
Kenny, there's a... It's just made for you to go and have a look. What's your head? Whoa.
Isn't it?
Wow. This is ridiculous. I wonder what the hell this was.
It couldn't be a bomb ship. No.
Snails on the wall, spiders on the ceiling.
Oh.
Don't know whether you want to try and poke your head in there, Tony.
I mean, I've got a brolly attached to it, so it's probably not going to happen.
No. It's a small, completely square chamber, spiders, snails on the wall. I just can't think of a single reason why it would be there. Now, the thing we've got to be aware of is that, of course, I have to have a swing. You can have a swing, haven't you? Oh. Can you not?
Now, look, this is where it stops and get Jeremy Beadle. 250 pounds.
I don't understand why anybody would have something like with levity in a cemetery. However, they did have hanging trees here, and you can see exactly the kind of bough that you would use. Don't want to think about that, but that kind of stuff did happen. You just got to remember that when you're at home watching this and listening to this, we're getting a bit of extra noise from the rain. Do you want to put your hood up?
Yeah.
You'll catch your death, man. Who? Listen. Sound of voices. No, realistically, I doubt how many people are out in the rain. The thing that makes Hillside different is it's in a quarry. I don't know whether you can tell. You see
Night Owls with Alan Robson.
You never know who's going to call next.
Greatest hits radio.
Okay, let's get to it. Who's out there next? Oh, hang on. We're off to Corbridge, where we find Natasha. Hello, Natasha.
Hiya, Alan. You all right?
I'm good, darling. What you got for me tonight, then?
Well, obviously, I've been watching your lives, your ghost hunts and things like that.
All right, great.
And I went to Chillingham Castle about 2 weeks ago for the first time.
Oh, my goodness. How was it for you?
It was amazing. It was really good. I mean, I think we're going to pop back in the next few weeks because I didn't take everything in.
Right.
So,
right. Did you go up? Did you go up to the lake?
We did, yes.
Excellent.
But there's not a lot of information up there, so I was a bit lost by it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We're going to have to go and read it. We haven't done Chillingham properly, and we've not done it on screen yet, so it's kind of overdue, and we'll definitely get around to it. The lake didn't used to be a lake. It used to be a bog before they filled it with more water, because they're thinking, if you can't walk on it, what's the point? We might as well fill it up with some more water, and they actually turned it into a lake. But it used to be a bog. And when they were in the business of just essentially getting rid of prisoners because they didn't like to set them free, so they either starved them or killed them or tortured them. But they usually ended up on a cart. And instead of, if you can imagine how long it would take a man to dig a 6-foot hole, imagine if you got 90 people to bury. Do you realise how big a job that would be? So what they used to do was they used to put them on hand carts, like half a dozen bodies, wheel them up to the bog, and then instead of digging a hole, you just push them down into the mud and let the weight of the body suck them down into the ground. But the interesting thing was that when they actually, back in I think it was the 1910s, 1920s, when they added the water, every now and then, like an arm bone would pop up to the surface or a few fingers. So that's quite creepy. Just on its own, that's quite creepy because nobody's got any idea how many people were pushed down into the bog, but we know it'd be a considerable number. So there's that. And you know when you were walking up to the lake, the land on the left-hand side kind of sweeps downwards a bit?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
There used to be like a barrier there to try and stop people getting up close to the castle. And there's also a tree that apparently they tried to tie. This is a Christian story, so you never know whether it's actually real or whether it's not. But they say that they tied a Christian prior to a tree, the pagans, and they set him on fire, and the tree refused to burn because he was a good Christian.
Oh.
So there's the tree that won't burn. It's kind of a funny colour. You will be able to point it out next time you go. But nobody knows whether that story's true or whether they've just got a funny coloured tree. You know, it could go either way, that particular story.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I think there should be maybe even a ghost trail, you know, where they print a leaflet or something where they tell you where everything is, because then you could pick up a leaflet and then follow the trail. I think next time I'm up there, I will mention it to them and see what they've got to say, because I'm quite happy to help them put one together again. That wouldn't be an issue.
It was such a beautiful day as well when we went. Obviously, it was the first time we'd actually been out properly as like a family as well since
brilliant.
COVID.
Yeah.
So we thought, we'll just have the day out there, and I can't remember what room it is, but it's the room at the very, very top of the castle, and I believe it's one of the haunted parts.
Yeah, I know, but that's hard to narrow down, the haunted part. But is it the one that had the upstairs floor in the room?
Yes.
That's the King Edward suite where King Edward Longshanks used to sleep, and there's bats flying around in there as well. Did you find that particularly spooky?
Well, I went up. Well, obviously the tour guide said you're best off going up on your own and taking a recorder.
Right.
So I waited like a little bit further on through the day, and I went up on my own, and nobody was there, and I didn't feel anything.
Right.
But I mean.
Well, you don't get a coconut every throw. That's the thing,
No,
Tash.
no, but I do believe in stuff like that anyway, because it's like I've always been interested in it since I was a child, and I was just sitting there patiently, and then it wasn't until I came down the steps. It's going to sound really weird, but I felt like somebody blew in my ear.
Whoa! Wow, that's great.
And I thought, nah, that's just me being silly. But then I felt a bit freaked out, so I ran straight down into the cafe.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Give me buns! I'm frightened! Give us a bun! Yeah, no.
I'm 34-year-old, but it did feel like somebody blew in my ear.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, lovely. So I ran down to the cafe, and my mother-in-law was like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not telling her because she'll think I'm mental.
Yeah. It's difficult because if you're with people that don't necessarily believe, to me, a castle's all about the history of the place. And they had a few amazing heroes that were at the castle, and they had quite a few people who were absolute villains. And it's nice to go and see the place where all that stuff happened, where they've got a torture chamber full of proper machines to do you harm. And did you go in the little oubliette, the tiny little dungeon?
Yeah, I did,
Did you get any feeling in there?
No, not really. There was quite a lot of people around.
All right.
So I think when there's a lot of people around, you don't really.
No, you can't separate. It's a noise thing in there, because I know a lot of people that have heard things coming from the grate on the floor, which is down to where the little girl's grave is. There's a grave in the bottom. I don't know whether you looked through the grill, but there's an open grave down there. If it's really quiet, people say they can hear breathing. Sometimes they can hear voices down there, which is, pretty full on, because that's where they chucked people and allowed them to die. So it's just, I'm a sucker for the history of places like that, and Chillingham's got a particularly grisly one. From the most reason being exactly where it is, because it's only a few miles south of the Scottish border.
Yeah.
And they had to be the toughest, meanest, nastiest. Do you know what I mean? Just to manage to survive, they had to be super tough. But no, I'm glad you went. Did you go in the Witchy Wood through the old gate that's opposite the castle door?
No, because I wasn't too sure if we could go down there or not.
Yeah. Well, it's a Witchy Wood, so the pagan part is down there. And there's witches were nailed to trees down there, and a few of them were buried on surface graves, just covered over by things. So, and there's a ley line that crosses, or should I say two ley lines that cross in between a couple of trees. And if you're open to it, when you walk past it, you go, what the hell was that? And it's just an energy lane, and it's natural. It's not anything spooky or anything, but it's a fascinating thing if you can find the spot. And if you're open to it, all the hair on your arms and your neck will go standing up. So might be something to look for if you go back again, like you say.
Yeah, we are going to go back
Cool.
because I wasn't too sure if we could go down that bit. So I didn't want to sort of like just put it down and then realise that I wasn't allowed.
Oh, you can absolutely do it. No, you'd have a wander about all over the place there. You don't have to worry about it.
I'll do that.
Happy days. Did you take a picnic, or did you get that bun I was suggesting earlier?
I definitely went to the cafe for that bun after that little talk. Yeah.
Good stuff.
But no, it was really good. It was just nice to be out again and learn the history of Chillingham, to be honest.
That's great. Hey, top job. Well, lovely hearing from you, Natasha. Thank you very much. And thanks for telling us about your adventure. All the best, love. Bye-bye.
You too, bye.
Bye-bye. Isn't that lovely? And she's absolutely right. We can do stuff now, so do stuff now. Don't sit on your hands and, well, maybe, in a fortnight, in a month. Do stuff. Make memories. There's like 95% of the world we can't go and see. So go and see some of the cool stuff that's on our doorstep. We got Kath next from Cruddas Park. Hi, Kath.
Hi, Anna. You okay?
Good. I hear you're talking about injury-fied things. What's happened?
Yes. Basically, I just wanted to raise awareness. About 7 years ago, I've worked sort of full-time all my life. Worked for a company in emergency services. I'll not say who, but basically I'd gone from working part-time to full-time, and I was aware that I wasn't getting much exercise. So through the service that I worked for, they offered me what was called a gym flex, where I could join a gym at a reduced rate and sort of go and get myself fit.
Brilliant.
So I joined this specific gym, went for the induction. I was put on a machine. If I can describe it, it was like a climbing frame, but it had an elastic on it. And basically, what you've done is you use the elastic to pull your own body weight up and down.
Right.
And I'm one of these people, somebody said there was jump. I would say how high. So I was on it about half an hour.
Right.
Came off it, left the gym, and about 2 hours later, I started. It was like my body was in traction. I was shaking all over.
Right.
And I thought, what's going on here? Oh, it's probably just, me and what I've done. So,
well, like your body reacting because it's not used to that kind of thing? Or?
Not used to that, yeah. I just thought, well, it's because I've not done any exercise in a long time.
Right.
So I went back to work the next day, and it got to the point my arms started to curl up.
Oh, what?
I couldn't move the mouse at work or do anything, and the pain was literally off the Richter scale. I mean, it was horrendous.
Well, how much pain must you be in when you can't move a mouse?
Yeah, exactly. So I asked to leave early from work. They knew I wasn't very well. Came home. My husband took me to A&E. I saw a nurse there, and she said, basically, your body's in a bit of traction. You've probably just done a little bit too much exercise. Go home, take some paracetamol, and you should be all right. So I thought, fine, follow the medical advice. Then the next day, during the night, my arms literally were like, it was awful. They were like curled up, like awful. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't put any weight on my legs. The pain was just awful.
Did you feel that you'd overdone it? Is that how it felt like? Or did you feel like you'd done well, but that was it? I mean, did you feel like you'd totally gone too far?
I thought there was something wrong because I've done exercise before. I used to be quite fit when I was younger, and I thought, this pain is just awful. And my arms were literally like curled up. My hands.
I don't understand that at all. That's weird.
Yeah. So I went back to A&E, and they were like, well, what do you want me to do? So my husband says, well, you're going to have to do something. So the doctors were literally hanging off my arms, like with their full weight, and I couldn't feel it at all. And they were like, oh, there's something not right here. So they took some blood samples.
Right.
And within about 15 minutes, because I had to go on a drip to sort of like cleansers and that. They were trying to say, well, it might be just something in your system that shouldn't be there.
In other words, they didn't know, did they? They didn't have a clue.
No, they didn't know. And then I went on the doctors came round within 15 minutes. There was about 9 consultants round my bed, saying, "What have you done? What have you done?" There was a Parkinson's one. There was there was all sorts there.
You must have been terrified, though, just at that stage.
I was at that point. And I said, well, and my husband was saying, well, so what's happened? What is it? And basically, in your body, you've got what's called a CK level. And in a normal woman, it ranges between 150 and 185.
Right.
And when they've done my blood, it was 9,000.
Cheapers.
So basically, I said to them, well, I've been on an exercise thing. What have you been on? And when I told them, they were like, oh, my God. You should never have been on that. Apparently, that's what they train the military on. It's like quite an intense thing.
Right.
And basically, what I had, it was something called rhabdomyolysis. And basically what it is, your muscles in your body completely break down and they poison you. So basically, I think I was probably, an hour away from dying. It was that bad.
So what did they do to put that right then? How do you rebalance because most people, including myself, never heard of this CK level business. So how do you rebalance something that we didn't even know we had?
Yeah, I had to go on like a liquid dialysis because basically I was just full of poison. If I hadn't have gone on that, eventually my kidneys, everything would have failed because I was just full of poison. So I was on that for a full day, and the doctors were like, we've never seen anything like this in my life. I mean, it's quite rare, rhabdomyolysis, but I wanted to phone you because it's something that is out there and is possible.
And also, you see, in my experience with the whole gym thing, and there's some wonderful gyms with wonderful people doing tremendous work. I'm not knocking gyms per se, but some gyms have people working for them that see what the experts do and think, I'll remember what they did and I'll tell other people to do that. And they don't have the experience or the knowledge to know with whom they should be doing it and the people that they shouldn't be doing it with. And it's really difficult finding that talking head that knows what they're talking about. Because you know yourself, personal trainers nowadays out there, they're making nice incomes for themselves. The gyms are playing catch up with the people they can afford. And that's a very different thing altogether, isn't it?
Exactly. So I was sent home. In fact, I was in that much pain. I was put on Oromorph liquid morphine.
Wow.
Because the pain was just absolutely horrendous.
When did you start uncurling then? Because that whole curl thing sounds... It sounds like you're shrivelling up to die, doesn't it?
That's exactly what it was like. It lasted about 4 days. Luckily, they put me on a drip.
Right.
But I was so shocked at what had happened. I went to see a solicitor, and it wasn't about the money, Alan. It was about, I thought, how can this happen? It was so serious, it could have finished me.
Yeah.
So I went to see a solicitor, and obviously, as the time was progressing, because it took about 4 years to get, I won my case.
Right.
But it's left me, it's a little bit like long COVID. It's left me with ME, like myalgic encephalomyelitis. It's a little bit like chronic fatigue syndrome.
Sure.
And
so I presume, though, you were just saying, I need to get fit, or you had the presumption that you needed to feel fit, and so I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm presuming you never went back to do any more of that then?
No, it put me off for life.
No, I bet it did.
In the state it's left us in, that was 6 years ago. I'm basically housebound now. I can't go out anywhere.
Oh my goodness.
I have days where I just can't get out of bed due to the horrendous pain. I lost my husband a few months ago, who was my carer, which I think I told you about before.
You did, yes.
And and I've got carers coming now. And I'm 48,
Jeepers.
and I'm literally absolutely, it's just totally devastated us. But with myalgic encephalomyelitis, they can't do a test and say you've got it. Basically, what they do is they test you for everything. I mean, the RVI were absolutely fantastic. I had to go to the tropical diseases there. I was literally tested for everything. And what they do is they have to rule everything else out.
But you know, when they start saying, and hey, what you've been left with is horrific. Don't even think twice about it, because you were in a good place. Let's just get a little bit fitter. Should have been the easiest thing in the world, really.
Yeah.
You know, if you set your mind to it and you just do a little bit every day, that would probably have been enough for you, really.
Yeah.
Rather than let's do the Royal Commandos course. You know, you don't need to do that. And yet now it's left you far worse than you ever were, and your whole life's curtailed. And you're 48.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're a bairn still in the grand scheme of things. People are living to 90 and 100 these days.
Yeah, it's completely and utterly devastated. It is. I mean, my solicitor was fantastic. I said all along, it's not about the money. It's not about that. I need to prove here that something's been done wrong. And they also found out prior to my induction, my saturation level in the body, so that the amount of water I'd drunk, it was nowhere near enough. So I should never have even started it, basically.
But it's just the guy that, or the lady or the gentleman who was teaching you how to do this thing that maybe you should have been doing after your third year, by the sound of things, not your first day.
No.
Did he sound, or did he or she sound like they knew what they were doing? Because you trust these people. When you go in, you're in their world. You trust them to know what they're doing, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I joined, I'll not say where, but I joined a very decent gym, which is very expensive. He seemed to have all the know-how. There was absolutely no reason why I would disbelieve what he was telling us. I do know after it all happened, he left and he had to go and practice abroad because they took his license off him. Because of how bad it was. But this rhabdomyolysis, Alan, I mean, you can get it in crush injury. So say if you have I've done a lot of studies on it, and so did the solicitor, because it's out there, but it's quite rare. And he said, you know, if you're in a car crash, for example, and you get like a crush injury, so say you've been crushed by something, basically what happens is, when that injury is lifted, so say you've been crushed by, I don't know, a bar or something, and you lift it up, if it's not done properly, that can also cause this as well. And it's such a devastating thing. And
will you ever be able to break free of this? And I know ME's one of those things that in reality, a lot of people never get over. That's their life.
Yeah.
Are you able to fight it at all, to try and win your life back again? Because
I do try, Alan. I do try the best I can, and some days I can get up and I can do a little bit, but a lot of the time I'm in bed, and I'm one of these people that I will always try to do my best, no matter what.
But I bet that was nothing like the life you had before.
Oh, absolutely not. Like I say, I've worked full time all my life. I think I was out of work 2 weeks in all the years I've been alive, and I've now got a mobility scooter when I can get out on it, but it's absolutely devastated my life. I mean, I got a payout, but it wasn't about that. It was about recognising that this person had done something wrong, and I was like, I don't want it to happen to anybody else.
No, absolutely. Hey, well, thank you for telling us about it. The whole thing's absolutely horrible. And as soon as you get doctors saying, we've got to look at things like Parkinson's, I mean, that's heavy. That's life-changing kind of conversations. For you to go through all of that and not know what door's going to open for you, that's scary as hell.
It was very scary, but I would just say to anybody, be careful if you do join a gym, and say
gentle start. Always a gentle start.
Always always get it checked out because, like I say, it is out there. It is uncommon, but it can happen. And
Yeah, but also I think this should give people that if they're not in general good health, and many people aren't. Hey, after lockdown, there's a little bit of puppy fat on an awful lot of people, so it's not anything to be ashamed of. But if you know that you're starting to do exercise and you're not used to it, have a word with your own doctor to see how much you can start with, because they know you.
Yeah.
They've got all your records. They can say they start, and everybody always says start slow, build it up nice and gently. You don't pile into it. But hey, lovely talking to you, Kath. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Alan.
Take care, darling. Oh, what a damn shame. How awful is that? Let's get some stars coming out at night. Try and put a smile on a few chops. That's a horrific story. Now, most people know, and my hat of choice tonight is this rather fine black trilby. Not expensive, but comfy on the head. And I got chatting with a band about hats. It was Norm, Ali Campbell and Earl from UB40.
Unemployed people. I was once one of those soldiers. Well,
in Durham County, I am sorry for to say. Hunger and starvation is increasing every day.
No, it was actually in Newcastle, but it was close enough.
Yeah.
UB40 with me now, the best band in the world, they're here.
Absolutely.
Right, now what we want to find out is, apart from, we got Norm, Ali and Earl with us at the present moment. Before we go any further, why the hat, Earl?
He's actually losing it on top. Last told me, Well, I like hats anyway.
Don't you think he looks good?
Yes, it's...
Earl wears a hat, man. He knows how to wear a hat.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
he
saying?
does, yeah.
man. He wears anything, actually.
Isn't it funny?
It it well.
If you're white, hats kind of problem because you tend to wait till you're 50 and get a trilby, don't you?
Well, it's not just hats with me. It's like you can't really polish your head, can you? You know what I mean? You can't make a silk purse out of a size hair. You know what I mean? Stick me in a money, and I still look crap. Absolutely crap. Yeah. I still look short, dumpy, what stupid. Yeah.
Really?
Whereas you can throw something really crap at Earl, and it looks wicked. Yeah. But you know, it's something you live with, isn't it? You know.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's yeah.
There was a guy called the Reverend Gray who tried very hard to get this quarry turned into a cemetery. And there was a lot of people who didn't want it turned into a cemetery, thinking it was disrespect.
Oh, rabbit.
Oh, that's all right, just a rabbit. Rabbit!
I didn't know what it was. I jumped down.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with the ropes. All of these branches can do that job, you know. But there was a lot of people who didn't want this to be a quarry. One of the ghosts here is from Horton Hall. Have you heard of Horton Hall?
I have, yeah.
Horton. There's ropes everywhere. And things hanging in the middle of nothing. See that? Like a magic trick. Can you see it? It'll be on a piece of spider's web, but you cannot see it. But at Horton Hall, there was a guy called Sir George Eliot. He was an MP, and his daughter was called Elizabeth Eliot. Elizabeth was putting on a party dress. Wow, look at that. Elizabeth was putting on a party dress, and she was standing too close to the fire, and the fire started burning her dress, and she went up literally and died, and she haunts Horton Hall. But it's said that a poltergeist haunts this place, and Sir George never wanted to be buried here, but Reverend Gray, who had a famous uncle called Lord Gray, Gray's Monument, centre of Newcastle, he gave his family member the right to use this as a cemetery. There's also a story, I think the guy's name was William Standish. He was supposed to have ridden off here on his horse, and he's buried in one of these graves where the horse landed, coming off the top. Now, there's actually no truth in that because he did actually die at home. However, his groom rode his best horse off the cliff, and the groom died, and Standish refused to let him even get buried here because he'd killed his favourite charger. You'll never see another cemetery like this in the world. Have you seen the cliffs just jutting out here? You can imagine if you rode off the top of there with a horse. Now, I heard voices before. I don't know how large this is. It doesn't look like it's too large. See again? Where?
Can you see them in torchlight?
Yes.
Is that a spider's web up there?
Yeah, it goes along there. You can follow it.
Yeah.
You see it?
How high is that?
Look, there's one climbing it.
No. Look at that spider's web there.
Well, what they do is they just fire them off on the wind and let the wind take them, and then they can climb from one tree across to another. But that's coming down to head height, isn't it? Amazing.
Directly above me.
Let's just hope the spider lands on you then. Serve you right. What, you caught him? Where?
Yeah, look at me torchlight. Just went away.
I'm not seeing it.
It was just there, me torchlight. That's a fly. That's weird. What if it could get on from it?
Well, it will be attached to something. No, but it'll be one of these trees. It'll just fire off its gossamer, send it on the wind, and it lands on somewhere, and it builds it up. Oh, what the hell's that? You see that? Looks like the edge of something that's built. Oh, watch your step, because obviously I'm not. Thunder, just what we need to get struck by lightning. I'm now deep in the heart of the cemetery, up beside the cliff walls. They go, well, you have to come up here. You have to come up here. For whatever reason, people over the years have made little areas that maybe they claim to be their own, maybe kids. Maybe, heaven forbid, people that haven't got a place to live. But if you come down here to this point here, obviously, every now and then somebody has a can or something. Just look up. I don't know whether... Just look up. It's absolutely incredible. You can see right the way up. Absolutely amazing. The whole cliff lighting up. And on here, it's just impossible to... It's a tribute to somebody with a snail in the middle of it. Within this tomb, can you read it? Are the remains of the late lamented William Standish. Oh, it's William Standish. You know, I've just been telling you about William Standish's grave. This is it. Oh, with a huge slug. The slimiest, biggest. Oh, sorry. Go in and you'll see snail. That's William Standish. You know how it was said that he rode his horse off the... he rode his horse off the cliff. Now, he didn't, and they say he was buried where he lay. That's the cliff. Unbelievable. But he was buried at the base of it, and that's William Standish. My goodness. I would never have found that if we hadn't. Something just dragged me to it. Now, this is an area that's supposed to be particularly haunted. It's difficult in the wet weather, isn't it? But my goodness, look at that. You can't imagine what it would be to land on stuff like this.
The necromancer around here. It's the grave.
It's his grave. Can you
Yeah,
double up?
I need to get some chairs as well.
Yes, please do, share. Oh, yeah. Oh, blimey. I've got an awful lot to read.
No, it's just bullet points.
Right. Tell them who's the brand. It's
JBL.
JBL. Now, JBL do the best headphones. Everybody knows that. These are top of the range. It's designed for people that go out on mountain bikes, who go out in their car, who go out trampling up and down hills and dales, kind of what we're doing. We have a set of these amazing headphones for you. That's the price tonight. If you want them, and they're top of the range, they're as good as you get. They're JBLs, for heaven's sake. So if you want them, come and get them. And all you got to do is share. You will also get yourself, of course, a Night Owl's badge. So share. I heard a voice, female voice. Female voice, clear as day. So Kenny, you scan away and let me have a torch. And let's see if I can find out where the female voice came from. But share. Got more information on the headphones a little bit later on. But for now, along with that blasted ugly slug that's just restricted itself a little bit, I've switched the necromancer off because this owl's, it's hooting and it's also
good in periods where we had to dig in and be resilient and be strong against a good team.
And Lewis Hamilton says he's sore but okay after rival Max Verstappen's car landed on him at the Italian Grand Prix. The Mercedes driver missed a chance to retake the lead in the F1 Drivers' Championship after the pair collided. From Sky News, I'm Annie Green.
Thanks, Annie. So, what are we going to be talking about tonight? A little bit of everything, basically. So let's get cracking. And we would love your calls, please. 0191 488 3188. 4 clues tonight. I'm going to give you 4 clues. You're going to tell me what the 4 answers have in common specifically. It's another one of them specifically questions. The first clue. A sweet hit, a sweet greatest hit, in fact, that's a warm drink, okay? A sweet hit that's a warm drink. Might have to check back through your sweet hits to see which one is a warm drink. That's the first thing. Write it down. When you've got all 4 answers, tell me what they have in common, if you can. A sweet greatest hit that is a warm drink. More to come. Good luck to you. See if you can work it out. Meanwhile, let us head in the direction of Ian, who is in Lockerbie. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Alan. How are you this evening?
I'm very well. Good to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's a long time no speak.
I know.
I used to speak to you when you were on your old TV radio show,
Sure.
TFM.
Well, thank you very much again for coming back to us. What you got for me then, mate?
The reason I'm calling tonight was during the week there on your Facebook page, you were looking for places to do like a ghost hunt.
Sure.
And I replied about Aviemore Station.
Right. Tell me more, because I love Scotland. I love the Highlands, and I drive up past Aviemore a lot. So
you can't get up there.
I don't know Aviemore Station.
Yes. Well, what it actually is, like during the summer and that kind of thing, Aviemore Station, they've got 2 old steam trains.
Right.
They run trips through the summer. They actually run between Aviemore and Botagarten.
Right.
And up at Botagarten, that's where they filmed the Monarch of the Glen.
All right, yeah.
The television programme.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was about 2 years ago now. We actually, me, my son, my wife, went on to one of the steam train trips.
Right.
And while we're on there, we're speaking to like staff that run the
railway,
the steam trains.
Yeah.
And they were saying they've got an old railway shed where they store the two steam trains at night.
Uh-huh.
And they've said quite regular when the staff and that's up round there, and when there's nobody actually in the shed, they can hear like voices that because they used to do all the repairs to the trains
right
years ago when they were basically new and that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
They've heard the banging and that of like the steel and that inside.
Uh-huh.
They've seen some movements inside as well.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as any of the staff go to open any of the doors, complete silence.
Wow, sounds great. Definitely worth a look, isn't it? That's fantastic.
So I know with you doing other ones recently, like Bows Railway, and that, which I was listening to myself.
Uh-huh.
So I knew that would take your fancy. So
No, absolutely. I don't know what it is about railway places. We've been to a few now, and they do seem to have a stain. Maybe because back in the day when they were, in their infancy, they were damn dangerous places for people to work, and they quite often used child labour as well. So maybe that's part of it.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, but hey, thank you for that. We'll definitely we'll add it to our list. No question about that. Sounds great.
That'd be good because I've been up there myself and we love in there, and because I've been on the train and that kind of thing. It's definitely interesting to see what you find up there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Also, I don't know what it is about steam trains, but I have little or no interest in your fast, get there half an hour before you left kind of train journeys. If you're on a train journey, you just want to enjoy it and see stuff. And you do that on a steam train, and you've got the smell and the cajuddery, you hear if you get on a modern train, you hear that's about it. But on an old-fashioned train, you go it's the whole experience is completely different. Or that might be just looking back with rose-coloured glasses, but I always remember really enjoying the old-fashioned trains when I was a little kid, and there was still one or two about. Fantastic. Anything else then, Ian?
No, it's just so long as that as well. It's just be saying about the memories and that.
Yeah.
It was with my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
From my mum's side, he's no longer with us. He died a few years ago. But while he was with us, he always came up with like stories because he actually used to be a signalman.
All right.
For British Airways, and I don't know if you know the place, but it was like Pinmore, just outside of Girvan.
Right, don't know it.
It was just a wee village now, and he was actually a signalman.
Right.
And he used to come out with all the stories that he'd actually go in the trains up to Glasgow from there and that kind of thing. So it's just remembering all my stories from my grandpa and that. And so it really takes my fancy with this. So.
No, it also fits in nicely with the Aviemore story as well. It's all that trainy thing. And I love all of that stuff too. Hey, thank you very much, Ian. Great to have you back on, man. All the best.
Thanks again, Alan.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. So there is Ian from Lockerbie. And if you've got any suggestions, I'm always keen. Oh, hang on here. Hello, Alan. I am messaging for a shout-out to me mum and my partner, Ty, and my best friend, Mark, who is humping, apparently, in Northumberland. There you go. Humping in Northumberland. Well, good luck there. And that's Courtney. He says, hi, Alan. Another one. I beg your pardon, there's two of them. Hi, Alan. I've been driving 17 years. Blimey, stop. Get a rest. Anyway, he says, I dislike cyclists. They hold me up when I'm driving. They're difficult to get past when cars are coming the other way. Gutted about the government not keeping its promises, but what's new? This is what the Tories do every time. They never keep their promises once they're in power. Jed Thompson, listening on a tune-in radio app. Swanky app person. Thank you, Jed. 01914 488 3188. Get your calls in. We have Terry, who is in Wallsend. Hello, Terry.
Hi there.
Hello, my love. What can we do for you?
I've been watching your live shows every Thursday for the last few weeks, and I want to talk about the Witch's Wood in the ruins.
Yes.
I know that night you lost quite well. You kept on losing the signal.
Sure.
And it was quite bad.
Oh, that was yes, that was the week before last. Yeah, it's in HD now. We've got the whole thing in HD, but that's why we've changed to a Friday, so we get everything in high definition, the whole hog now. But no, it was stopping. Do tell.
I think I commented on the night, and I kind of made everyone aware that thing kind of tends to happen.
Yeah.
Especially on ghost hunts. I mean, I'm part of a paranormal group myself. And technology gets affected all the time.
Always. We tend to have
well.
it's brand new batteries that you just put on something and they've gone. It was interesting though, because on that night we obviously caught a group doing some kind of ritual stuff with fire in the woods. Because the stuff they were doing, this was not anything that, well, first of all, certainly not at that time of night. You don't expect anybody, we're going to clear the bracken by, making a pentagram on the grass, and let's have a circle on the outside of that, and let's burn something in the sun. People don't do that. They just do their thing. And this was a very, very specific thing we saw in the woods. So I wasn't really surprised that we had some energy stuff. I was surprised at the power of it, though, because it knocked out a lot of stuff that we put in place to make sure that we didn't have any blackouts. But hey, that's what happens. So, I mean, whereabouts do you go? Do you go live streaming yourself, or?
Not live streaming, but we do use certain types of technology.
Gadgetry, sure.
We've been to Jedburgh before.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the Newcastle, the tunnels. I've been to a few places.
Yeah. Brilliant.
But yeah, it's happened to my group before.
It's a nightmare because once it starts, you just get that. Oh, blimey! And yet, how do you explain that on the way to the building we were heading to, that we had a load of problems, and yet when we came back the exact same road, we didn't have a single problem. That's just.
The signal was great afterwards.
It's unnatural, isn't it? It's just it's going to be the same. Whichever way you go down the same road, you would think, but it wasn't. It's bizarre. But we got a few things, so we were very happy with them. But thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your time to do that.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay. Anything else, darling?
No, that's everything.
That's Terry. Thank you, Terry. And I remember the message that she sent in, just to reassure you that sometimes, no matter what you do, you're going to go to a place and you're going to have an issue, which is why we're doing things slightly differently. So we have a warts and all mix, and then we have a high definition mix for everybody. Now, Joanne is in Ellington, and she has a story. Let's find out what it is. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Alan. You all right?
I'm good, Alan. Thank you for calling in. What you got for us then?
We were watching the other week when you did the little snippet from Crestwell Peel Tower.
Yes.
And my husband and I just jogged our memories. We went for a walk through there a couple of years ago before the start of the renovation.
Right, yes.
And we always followed the road round by the old the Crestwell Hall stable, the stable block.
Yes.
The ruin round there.
Know it, yes.
And we came round to the Peel Tower.
Does that bring you out through the woods?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Know where you mean.
Round by the caravan park.
Yes, that's right.
And when we come through the woods and you come to where the old the walled garden is.
Yes.
That obviously they're doing out now.
Uh-huh.
And there's a ruin not far from that part. Well, it was a ruin at the time, but it's not now. They've done it up to like a staff only, like a little office.
Right.
The old bossy.
Uh-huh.
But when you get to that area, we're both walking just through there, and the two were just stopped, dead. Said, "Can you smell you could smell horses.
Right.
And we couldn't understand why, because there's nothing around where it is.
Wow.
And I mean, it's dead quiet as well, and all you can hear is the crows.
That's true.
And yeah, and you could just at one little point where you could either move left or right, and there's one single point you could smell like horses, and it's away from the hall where the old stable block is, a little bit distance from there.
But you presume that they would keep horses tied up anyway. They don't put the horses in the stable every time. You know, they tie a horse up. It's like a car. If you're using it that day, you don't stick it in the garage, is kind of what it's like. So they must have had areas there that people with horses were coming in going, I'm guessing.
Possibly, yeah. But I mean, obviously, years and years and years ago.
No, absolutely.
So,
not the day you were there, that was for sure.
No. And we both just stopped and said the same thing. And you could specifically smell horses in just one little area.
How cool is that?
I don't know why and what, I don't know.
No, but this is the thing, because we know that if you believe in the paranormal, I know a lot of you don't, but if you do, it's said that the paranormal affects your senses, and they don't say just one of them. You know, it says senses plural, which means touch, smell, hearing. You know, it's all involved. And I know people that have said they've been in buildings and they say, well, this has been a no-smoking building for the last 50 years. How come I can smell pipe smoke?
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of thing. And it's relatively common. And I'm glad you got it. And the fact that you both got it is important.
Yeah.
Because if you'd have just got it, it could just be imagination saying, well, you're in an area where there used to be this. You're thinking about it.
No, we're both.
But you both got it.
Stopped and said to each other, "Can you see? We can smell horses."
Absolutely.
And there was absolutely no reason to be able to smell
Not
horses
at all.
because there's nothing.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Hey, good job.
I didn't know also what you were saying about the 80-odd men that were murdered in the wood. We
There
didn't
you
know
go.
about that.
It's a fascinating thing. The further you go back, you find that, mind you, there's a lot of people died all over the place, especially Northumberland, because it's a bloody county to start with. You know, there's a lot of history connected. It's just everywhere you go, especially the whole Reaver thing, if you follow any family line, and there was one, I think it was Allendale, where the king sent up his men to kill 200 Turnbulls. And you go, that's random. That's just one family. They're trying to wipe out an entire family in Northumberland. And those kind of things with the Reavers were quite common. You know, if the baddies are it's like the Dalton gang. You know, when you hear cowboy stories, who's them Daltons? Wipe out the Dalton family. And if your name was an Armstrong and Ann Armstrong did something wrong, they'd try and wipe out your family. But not realising when they got up north, there was like 500 of them. You know, it's fascinating. But hey, thank you for being with us, Joanne. Appreciate your time. Thank you for ringing
problem.
in.
Okay.
Cheers, lover. Bye-bye. Yeah, there's strange... And the only way you find out about Reavers is to go into the family lanes, and it's a faff, but it's worth it. Okay, going to have a quick piece of music now, and this is the Supremes. Oh, we like the Supremes. I was lucky enough to talk to Mary Wilson about stuff, actually. So how did the whole idea of the Supremes reach you then? Because you're just a little girl.
Yeah.
I mean, how did it happen?
Yes. Well, you know what? It was actually through school because we were in like the 8th grade, I think it was.
Right.
And I went to a talent show. It was a talent show we had at school, and I met Florence Ballard there. She was on the same show. And we were just singing. I was pantomiming to Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers song, "I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent."
Right.
And yeah, it was really cool. And so it was the first time I had ever done anything like that. But the kids were just having a ball. And also Florence was on the same show, and she sang Ave Maria.
Right.
So, yeah. So after the show, we kind of got together and said, "Boy," she said, "you were really good." And I said, "Your voice is great." And so we just started talking. And pretty soon, someone asked her if she wanted to be a part of this group. Well, we had said when we first met each other that if anybody wanted to get a group together, you know, we would remember each other. So we became friends. And then, you know, a couple of months later, Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams, who later on became two members of the Temptations. They had a little group going, and their manager wanted to get a girl group together. So Florence knew one of them, and they asked her, and then she asked me, and then somebody went across the street and asked Diane, who we didn't know very well. And that's kind of how we got together.
Who would have thought that was one of the most famous tombs? And there's another huge slug on the side of the wall there too. Disgusting. Well, there's two of them, right side by side. You can see the slithery trails. Do you want to eat one, Kenny?
No.
Shall we turn this into
No, you're
who
right.
wants to be a
I'm a celeb. Get me out of here now.
who wants to be in a jungle person?
Let's go. I always go wild. You have to know.
Yep. Everybody thinks they just hoot. They don't. You're asking me if I know the difference between an owl and an
I
owl.
know that's a silly question.
Look at that cliff right up there too. Oh, I'm so glad I stopped. See what I was just going to do? Oh, big tree trunk. Yeah, watch your step, guys. I heard a girl's voice before, though, clear.
Yeah, got it, thanks.
It's the same bird. That's an owl. Oh no, that's a sad thing. You seen this? Just let it, so they've got no family. That's somebody's daughter. It's really sad. I always like to think that cemeteries are places of peace. This one's got an odd feel to it. There was 3 colliery disasters at Horton Pit, and the people from Horton Colliery are here. Not necessarily here, but they're in this graveyard, and I'll tell you some tales about them when and if we find them. So do check them. We want to find out there's 4 very brave guys from World War I. Oh, here's another one of those places. Another like dale. Isn't this strange? Everywhere you look, there's like a nook or a cranny, isn't there? Does it say? There's no name on it. I do know that there's an area supposed to be here for people colour.
Yeah, that.
I heard a voice there.
That was a screamer.
Just very near us.
That was a screamer or something.
That was a lad's voice, though, wasn't it?
It's a young boy's voice.
It was just here.
No, what I'm saying is, there's no way I can promise you, but I was told that in this cemetery there was a grave for victims of cholera, right. And they weren't buried individually. They were just put into a.
It could be this area.
It could be this. And there's a few, because Reverend Gray was a bit of a beggar. He was. A lot of people said he was the least religious person in Horton. He used to like the ladies and the drinking, because his family member was Earl Grey, you know, the rich, wealthy Prime Minister of all England. He got away with all kinds of stuff. And people who were not religious wanted to be buried. And they had nowhere to be buried because they didn't believe in God, so therefore it was classed as sacrilegious. The Reverend Grey turned a blind eye. And those people like Standish, who didn't want to be buried here, he'd do anything but to be buried here because he fought against the quarry being turned into a cemetery. Did you hear that?
That's that scream or something again.
I hope people at home are getting it, because that's about 4 we've had now.
All from the same direction.
I've just twisted my knee. No. Yeah. Ow. Walk it off. Ow. I hate the fact that some of these have had the tops broken off. I would hate to think it was vandalism. But, you know, I was telling you about William Standish. Yeah. William Standish didn't want to be buried here. And in the 1970s, some vandals came and dug William Standish's head up, and they were kicking it around a housing estate just down the bottom where we've parked the cars. And I think this maybe goes back as far as 70 when they were tipping things up.
1877, Solomon.
1863 behind you too. Makes you wonder what used to be. I'm presuming that used to be on this plinth.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know who these morons are that damage, but these are people's families, for heaven's sake. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. These places should be absolutely respected. Look at that. What a damn shame.
Live conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we are getting straight back into it. We've got Trevor this time from Gateshead. Hi, Trevor.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
I'm all right. What are you talking about tonight, then?
Steve Bruce, how can you be blaming the Chronicle for the way the fans are going on, mate?
Right. The Chronicle have kind of reflected, and I think you'll know this yourself if you're a regular Chronicle reader, they've reflected what Newcastle fans have been saying. Now, that's their job. It's not a question of let's influence everybody and say, we don't like Brucey, so we'll make sure that the fans don't like them. And they can't approach a story like that. It's just... It's been a long-running thing. Steve Bruce, I know he's a northerner, so you would have thought he ticked a few boxes. There's a thing, there's a barrier between him and the fans, and there's a lot of mistrust that exists. That's just a fact. That's not me trying to persuade you to feel like that. That's just my reading of how the fans feel about him, and I kind of understand it. Where do you stand on Steve Bruce? I mean, should he be given more time? Is he doing an okay job? What do you think?
No, I don't think he's been doing an okay job, mate. So, I mean, he shouldn't have taken the job. You know, we've said this loads of times, mate. I mean, 4 games in, we are in big trouble already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's a football manager. If somebody offers him a job at a giant, a sleeping giant maybe, but a giant nonetheless like Newcastle, you're going to take it, aren't you, for yourself and for your family? And even if you're not successful, you'll get paid off well enough to make it worth your while, surely.
That's correct, mate. But honestly, it's as if he's like grasping at straws, like blame people for the way the team is. And I mean, all the journalists were asking him, like you just said, was doing their job and asking him questions, and he just started getting flustered and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, how man? Like the Crystal Palace and that now, mate, man. I mean, they weren't doing very well a couple of games ago, and that has a hell of a long way to go in the season, mate.
Sure.
But like the teams that were in and around us last season, they spent money and they spent canny bit money.
They spent well, I think. I like Palace, and I like what Vieira's doing. But I think Roy Hodgson left them with a decent squad, and the first thing he did was sell 11 of them. Wow.
That's what I was just going to say, mate, Palace. You know, I mean, there's a strike Tottenham yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I just think, man, big trouble, and I think he's starting. Maybe Steve Bruce, I didn't like him as a manager. I didn't know him as a person. But I've never thought he was a good manager, maybe.
Okay, well, what about the argument would be, well, last season he managed to keep Newcastle up with a minimum of investment. I mean, is that not something that he should be proud of?
I of course, he should definitely, but there's never built on it. There's never built on what it is. All have done spent £25 million. They've let Andy Carrigan, they've let other people, 3 people go.
Right.
But they weren't in the squad anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, however, man, mate, we've had Richie, we've had Shelby. In fact, Shelby's not even playing at the minute. Callum Wilson's injury put him to bits. You know what I mean? You're one trouble, mate.
Yeah, no, I see it. And the thing is, any game that Callum Wilson isn't playing, you kind of think, well, who the hell's going to score then?
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Like Joe Linton, he was clean through. He nearly hit the corner flag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, something, because I'm a big fan of the underdog, because Joe Linton got it in the neck from the moment he arrived, because nobody knew who he was, and the only person that seemed to want him was Mike Ashley. So he had a rock on his head before he started, didn't he? You know, he had a lot to kind of to prove. But because of that, I thought the following season, let him come out, you know, like a brand new start and show us what he can do. And it's the same Joe Linton that we had last season. And
exactly, Alan, but you know what it is? We bought him as a centre forward. He wasn't even a centre forward in any way.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? And Alan St. Maximan's a winger, and he can do a better job as a centre forward all day long.
Yeah. Mind you, how long do you think we'll be able to keep him beyond the next transfer window?
I'm surprised we kept him this window, but we only kept him because he got promised that we were going to build and strengthen, and now he'll be thinking,
Yeah,
you know?
he knows better now. That's
the
thing.
What Steve Bruce got to do, at the end of the day, he's going to get sacked. You know what I mean? And then once he gets sacked...
But you see, we're back to the same old question. Who do you put in to replace him?
Exactly. That's the thing. It's just rotten from the top. Sorry, it's rotten from the top.
But who do you put in then? I mean, give me a manager that you think could turn it around at Newcastle, because you got to remember, any manager you put in there has still got to deal with the same management.
Alan, there's nobody that can do it. The only way that we are going to change is if he sells the club, Mike Ashley, if he sells the club, somebody decent buys you with a bit of passion. Because otherwise, we're just going to be like this for ages. Did you see how she ran match of the day last week? That's off it, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's shocking.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not as if the fans aren't passionate. You know, all we want to do, and all the fans that pay to go to the matches away. Like, did you see them go mental when we scored yesterday, man?
Absolutely.
You know, they love the team. We all love the team who supports Newcastle, but this is just, it's dire, this, man.
Yeah, and also, I don't know about you, but at the start of a season, you begin and you think, hey, do you know, there's a few players on the side could really turn this around, that might spark something good, and then result after result, your head starts to drop a bit, because who we're playing next, oh, hell's teeth. And you just know that even teams below Newcastle last season have spent really well.
That's what I mean.
And that kind of pushes Newcastle closer towards the drop again. Yeah. You also wanted to talk about COVID passports. Where do you stand on that then, Trev?
I didn't get very much known anyways, mate. I did all my clubbing when I was in my 20s, you know what I mean? I'm glad that it's not going to happen for people who want to get out who haven't had the vaccine. but also I think the government have realised that they wouldn't be making any money off nightclubs and that if they did bring these passports in, because there's a hell of a lot of people out there that hasn't been vaccinated, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think that figures all add up, really, but I'm not a mathematician on out like that.
No.
But they've had a U-turn for some reason, haven't they?
They have indeed.
Scotland's going ahead with it, aren't they?
Seems so, and whether that proves to be a good move or a bad move, time will tell. But hey, but good talking to you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Right, no problem, mate.
Cheers, Trevor. Look forward to it. Bye-bye. There's Trevor, a passionate black and white who, well, realises that Newcastle United could well be in trouble this season, no question about it. And the season that Sunderland are topping their league and could be in the same division as Newcastle next season. Think about that. Oy. Yeah, who knows? Back to derbies and stuff. But it's vitally important that Newcastle stay in the Premiership where they belong, and Sunderland can certainly join them there. I've got no qualms about that. And Middlesbrough, we want the triumvirate. We want the three in there if it's at all possible. 01914 488 3188. Next we have Audrey, who's in Washington. Hello, Audrey.
Hello, Alan.
Hello there. What are you talking about?
Doing?
I beg your pardon?
I says, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm champion. Thank you very much. I'm all right. What you got for us all?
Well, you asked a question about haunted places.
Yes.
And I suggested the Sunderland Air Museum.
Right,
Because my sister used to go on paranormal hunts with her friends.
All right, yes.
And she got quite a lot there.
Right.
She got a pilot sitting in one of the aeroplanes.
Right.
She got a AV piece. And I was telling Tony, if you use your phone on your cameras,
yes,
and press record, like just ask questions, you can actually get EVPs. Because I know you use that ghost radar.
We use a few things. We've also got a couple of random, like dictaphones, that we can just set off. We haven't used them very much, but we can do. We were at the Sunderland Air Museum not so many months ago. You can actually watch that on Facebook now, so you can check that out, because we've been down there and we caught a lot of the things that you're talking about, like noises, voices, and a couple of photographs that look like there's a pilot sitting in an empty plane, and you would never, you look and you say, well, there's apparently nobody there, but when you look at the photograph, it looks absolutely like there's a guy. It's in YouTube as well, I'm being told.
Yeah, she says there's also a couple of pubs in Durham that's haunted.
Right,
She can't remember the actual names of them.
Right, okay, well, we'll check them out. We'll look them up, see what's there. No, we're doing so many these days that we're just rattling our way through them, so the more the merrier, really. But thank you for that, that's cool. Anything else, Audrey?
No, that's all.
Oh, dead. Short and sharp and to the point.
I've got work in the morning.
All right. So, hey, get your head down. Thanks for coming on. There's Audrey in Weshy. And let's move on. We've had a lot of ghosty stuff tonight, haven't we? And Cresta is with us from Hortonless Spring. Hello, Cresta.
Hiya.
Hello, love.
Hello, Helen.
Hortonless Spring, or we were in your backyard.
I know, I went and tried to chase you.
Oh, are you the lady that we met?
I'm the lady that turned around and said about the abandoned cemetery that we go to that I couldn't mention on the radio.
Sure.
Did you find it?
Gotcha. Yes, we did. Thank you very much for that. We did. And I must say, it's an amazing... It's almost like... If you ever seen a film called The Secret Garden, it's it's like a spooky version of The Secret Garden. You see the cemetery as it's laid out, and you don't see any entrance or any path, but if you follow the little tiny trail, suddenly you're in this other place. And I must say, it blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Well, me and my partner Steve, we spend a lot of time there. We actually look after the cemetery.
All right, lovely.
Me and the group, there's a group, Horton Hillside Cemetery.
Right.
Which actually look after it, but it's actually got that bad this year, or the past 2 years, that nobody's gone there to do anything.
Oh, the shit. What's happened with it? I noticed that a few of the gravestones had been knocked off their plinths. I know other ones had been... literally flattened. Is that recent?
I think a lot of that's to do with vandalism. You get a lot of people go up there from the local area that just sit there and drink all night and just destroy what,
What a shame.
What's there,
Beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. I mean, there is two parts to that cemetery.
Absolutely.
There is the bit where you obviously went, and then there's the older part, which you can't get to it because obviously people have gone there, knocked the trees down or knocked branches down, and it's blocked the path.
Right.
So,
I mean, we did go right the way through the secret cemetery. We went all over the place, and we managed to find some of the graves of the four army people who passed in the First World War. Amazing to see. Each one has an incredible story, and we told those stories on the way around. Amazing down there. It is, but I must say it's not for the faint-hearted. It's
not.
It's overgrown. Nature's taken it back.
It's very, very dark, and if you like dark, go, and you're not afraid to go. Right. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you go, you can't be faint-hearted. You've got to go, and you want to expect something. So I go there, and I speak to the non-living, shall we say. And every time I've gone through the cemetery, I know each grave, and I say, hi, Edith. Hi, Elizabeth, and I speak to them.
That is lovely. Lovely way to deal with it. No, absolute respect for that.
It's just a nice way to make them still feel, well, if they can't see or look down on a person, they can say, well, at least they have respect for us and come along. I mean, last year I made wreaths. You know, the Christmas wreaths you can put on the door?
Yes.
I made a few of them and I put them on the soldiers' graves.
Lovely.
So it just, it's just something...
It's nice. It's a nice touch. It really is. Nice touch.
Me and my partner are going to Chillingham Castle next week. I mean, we've been there 9 times, but we're staying in the guards' room. So we're going there and we're doing our own investigation because they let you wander the grounds on the night time as well. When you've got your own apartment, you can do what you like, really.
No, absolutely. It's great that you go and you do these cool things. How long have you been able to... talk to those that have passed then?
Well, you just go and you just hope and pray that you get something. Same with like when you use your spirit box or your voice recorder, you hope that you're going to get something.
Right.
But the photographs that I took in that cemetery, because obviously I've sent them to you the last time we spoke on the radio.
Right.
I sent you the photos, and that was from the soldiers' graves when I was leant down and you could see, some sort of figure behind me.
Right.
But it was amazing. It's amazing cemetery.
It is indeed. No, we're very happy to have been there and checked it out. It was one of those it's a hidden gem. There's no question about it. It is a very special place.
Obviously, I didn't want to say on the radio where it was because there's that much vandalism and you get much people up there. It's very hard to, you don't know what's going to happen because there's that many people go in even on a nighttime drinking. You think, oh, am I safe?
No, you see, I've kind of got a slightly different rail on that. If you get loads of good people going, it has a habit of pushing the bad ones out because they don't want to be surrounded by people walking the dog and sitting having a picnic and doing all that kind of thing. I would love to think that cemetery could be cherished because that's what it needs to. It needs to be looked after.
Alan, me and Steve cherished the cemetery. We went up there with chainsaw, hedge cutter, and done our bit for society basically. And I'm not going to say any names, but the people that live at that area, one followed us home, and I got broke into.
Oh, no, that's not funny.
So obviously, it stopped us going back up the cemetery. So it does put a bit of a dampener on things. We still go now and again just to check up on things, and obviously there's others in the group that still go and pick the rubbish up and clean up after everybody else. But it's just keeping things nice.
It knocks the edge off things. You're quite right, Cresta. Hey, but Cresta, thank you for coming on. Lovely to talk to you. Thanks for giving us a call.
You take care.
You too, darling. Bye-bye. How nice. Lovely stuff, and it is these places, And I mention this time and time again. If you look at how people treat cemeteries across Europe and the world, they treat them with love and respect because there are families, there are our people there. And in Britain, we have just scummers that ruin it. And there should be places that it's a pleasure to go to, for everybody. It shouldn't be intimidating. Oh, we're going to meet a nugget on the way. Shouldn't be like that at all. Time for another piece of music now. How long has this been going on? Classic song from Ace. We know how much you love it here on Greatest Hits Radio. Ha! Paul Carrick, of course, was part of Squeeze. He was also part of Mike and the Mechanics. Let's talk to him about the early days. And he might just mention Ace.
Now, you may remember many, many moons ago, I had some fun in a studio with this guy where I taught him how to play piano in the Eurovision Song Contest style.
But it didn't do me any good, did it? I didn't win.
Well, that's
That was the
true.
trouble.
It's a shame, but you're still the funkiest looking guy in a hat that I know. So it's Paul Carrick. Welcome. Good to
Thanks,
talk.
Alan. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Let's talk about stuff. First of all, I want to basically just remind everybody from birth till current position. Where were you raised?
I'm still being raised, but I grew up in Sheffield originally and grew up there until I was about 15 or 16. I left school and I was off on the road, settled down in the south.
You went off on the road. Were you into music even at that age, or were you being kind of battered around the ear hole by your parents to learn something else? A proper trade, young man.
Yeah, no, I was playing in semi-pro bands when I was at school.
Yeah.
Going to school during the day, playing in bands at night, and as soon as I got out of school, that was it. I was off. Unfortunately, my dad wasn't around by then. He'd passed away, unfortunately. But I think my poor old mum couldn't believe it when I said, "Right, that's me. I'm off." I think she fully expected me to come back for me tea, but it didn't happen.
So, at what age did you start learning to play instruments then?
Well, I always used to bash around in the attic on the bits of old drums we had up there, bits of old Boys Brigade drums and cardboard boxes and that. Taught myself to play that a bit, and then when I was 6, I had an older brother played guitar, so I was always picking up his guitar and learning a bit of that. And as I say, when I was a teenage, 16, 17, in order to join the local soul band, who were the hot ticket around at the time,
Right.
they needed an organ player, and I blagged my way in there, told them I could play, and stood at the back, played very, very quietly for 6 months while I figured it out. So still bluffing ever since.
Which is amazing in this kind of... Let's head up here. I think this is heading back, kind of. And there's the last one. I'm not going down, but I'll let you. This should be the other of our gallant soldiers. His name should be Place, the brother
I'm
of...
not going to be able to see it from there.
The brother of... well, hang on, let me go down. Just to make sure then. Love and respect to you. Yeah. That's it. So we've had both places, Richardson and Wheatley.
We didn't go this way.
No, we've got to come back, obviously. I think. Do you know the way back?
I'm not sure. I thought there was just one path, but there looks like there's a few tracks now.
There's hundreds
Oh.
of tracks. I'm not even sure I'm on a track anymore.
It all looks the same.
I'm a total loss, Tony.
Is that not where we came? No.
No.
Oh, no. This looks like it's going further in.
I know. So how do we get out? We came up here from somewhere. Couldn't be down there. Ow. Ouch. Well, whether you heard that. That was nasty. Tony, I'm lost, mate.
This doesn't look familiar.
No. No, what you can hear. This does not look familiar, Tony. But I'm at more graves. Oh no, I do recognise this. Yeah, we're back on track, Tony. Just along here. Do you recognise it now?
Yeah, kind of. Because I'm looking at the screen as well, so I don't really take much notice of what goes on around.
Right. I think we're back on the right track again.
Kenny might think we've left him.
I know.
You'd be looking down that ditch for her.
Well, that's where we went.
I think that we fell down it.
Be careful, it drops away here, Tony. Come down, careful, because this is... Because we thought we'd seen the whole cemetery, didn't we?
Well, yeah, I didn't think this was all here. To be fair,
that's that killer nettle I was warning you about.
Oh yeah, I think if we kept walking, we'd probably get lost. It looks like it goes on for. Goes on for a lot longer. It's the weirdest cemetery, though.
This is just not. It's not laid out in any kind of cemetery-like way. These are those trees that we had to duke for. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's laid out like a haunted cemetery.
It's exactly that. Oh dear. Oh, it gets spookier there. I don't know, but all the energy's been sucked out of me, man. Oh, something in my eye as well. Flying, damn it. Ow. Jeepers.
There's graves down there as well.
Yeah,
gotta be.
Absolutely. Just watch your step, because this is where it slides off, where Kenny disappeared down the hole, so be careful. I just wish we were on the other side. I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, it's going up, definitely. So creepy.
Oh yeah, we're here. Kenny!
Should have put the necromancer on down there.
You think?
We should have, shouldn't we? Someone did ask for it before.
We still can.
Yeah. Kenny, what's happened to him?
Don't know what's happened to Kenny. Do you want me to go down in the pitch black and you can hold the torch and do whatever you can?
Well, I'm going to try and locate Kenny. I mean, he's definitely up here.
Right. Ow. Come on, speak to me. This is our last chance. This is our last search. Come to us. Who was that touching me before? Who was that surrounding me, the little girl? It's the little girl there. Speak to me. It's the little girl. Anyone there that was killed in the colliery? Were you killed in the war? Who was killed in the war? We've just seen 4 gravestones. Were they your gravestones? No. Do you have all 3? Do you have gravestones? Nope. Where are you buried? Speak to me. Oh, you're not doing good for me tonight. Not getting anything major there. Come on.
It's a bit worrying that Kenny's not here.
I know.
We left him on his own. He could be down one of those ditches.
I know. We're gonna have to find him. He might have gone to the front to wait for us. Maybe. This is playing up. I don't know why. It did this before. I want to try something different. Let's try this. Let's open the portal.
Dear Shane Lowry and Ian Poulter have been named as captain's picks by Podrick Harrington for Team Europe's challenge against the USA in golf's Ryder Cup. From Sky News, I'm Annie Green.
Thanks, Annie. OK, let's get back to it. Alan Robson's Night Owls. It is, of course, Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Now, Sue has sent this in and says, Alan, could you explain what hell's teeth means? Never heard anybody else say it before. It's a northeastern expression, and it's the same as hell's bells. Hell's bells refer to the gates of hell. And you say it as an expression of shock. Hell's bells, like, am I hearing the bells of doom? Hell's teeth are the gates of hell opening up. It's same kind of base, and it's an old, crusty Anglo-Saxon, possibly even earlier expression. And she also says, COVID passports. I think it should come into practice. It's a gateway to live a normal life. But now the Muppet Show is ditching the idea. It's an excuse for all of the non-believers and selfish people not to have the vaccination. I also think masks should be mandatory. Just my opinion. There you go. And Tony's been on, trusty taxi driver. He says, if you go up to Aviemore, I'll come and be your guide. I love the place. I've been going up there since I was 83. This was taken on the beach at Loch Morlich last week. Well, there he's well in for a plodge, up to his belly, and in danger of getting chowed by eels. Beautiful, just sunny, gorgeous, could be anywhere in the world. Perfect sandy beach, beautiful sky blue loch. And him plodging. There you go. So thank you for that. Amazing what he can do for a man of his age. 0191 488 3188. Time for your second clue as well. And remember, 4 clues and you can win yourself the trusty Night Owls mug. There it is. And if you would like one, all you have to do is work this out. The first clue, a sweet greatest hit that's a warm drink. Second clue, Bryan Adams' greatest hit, Everything I Do, was in a film about this hero. Okay? Bryan Adams' greatest hit, Everything I Div for Love, was in a film about this hero. You got 2 clues now. 2 more clues to come. And specifically, we need to know what we're talking about here, okay? Yeah, there's a very specific link to all of these things. You've got to tell me what that link is. So, 2 clues down, 2 more to come. And who's out there in the dark? We have Oliver, who is in Hexham. Hello, Oliver.
Hi.
Hello there. What are you talking about, Ollie?
The Hexham Old Jail and my experience there with...
I didn't know you'd been imprisoned. What were you in for?
Well, I had went there with Kindred Investigations and their team, and we kind of like went in like different rooms, and we did like the Ouija board, the yes no board, and the green grid, and someone had brought in like a sensor bear where it, like if like a spirit touched it would like go off.
Right.
And we had done like cat balls,
Sure.
we did table tipping as well, and like we did scrying as well. In the last room that we had actually went in, we got like loads of like stuff happening. The table tipping, that was going crazy, and the scrying when I had like done that, because Derek, he asked if I wanted to have a go, and well, all my features changed. It looked like I actually had turned into an old man.
Wow.
Like all of a sudden I had like baggy eyes, I had a beard, I completely changed basically. In the Ouija boards throughout the full night from like 10 a.m. up until like 3 a.m. It was like going crazy. We had got in contact with someone called Stan. Apparently he was from like Gateshead area, and he was like picking on someone in the group. He just didn't like them at all, and we don't know why. And he was calling them like really bad names basically. He just wanted them to leave, and I think at the end it kind of got to the point where he actually did leave.
Right.
And
Pressured him out.
like whoever we like got on the Ouija board, I wanted this like one person to be on it all the time to like use their energy for it.
Right.
And we like most of us were like going really, really hot, and then all of a sudden when we had gone out of that room, like the temperature changed straight away. But as soon as I like had walked into the building, I felt like loads of energy around. It felt like as if people were watching me. And it was like the first room that we'd like all met in. That was like the room that I felt more energy in, but we didn't get anything in that room.
Right.
And we had like used cat balls, but they didn't really go off as much.
Right.
We did the human pendulum as well in a couple of rooms.
Right.
That was, I think, on the first room, that was like really, like it got quite a lot. But the Ouija board and like the yes no board, that like went crazy. If anyone wanted to actually go there, I would like recommend it, because it's like.
Did you see anything there? I know you saw obviously boards that you were using. Did you see anything with your naked eye?
When we like did the green grid, we had saw like flashing like shadows, and like they were flashing as well, as if like
there was something about.
Yeah, as if like a spirit was trying to like come through and show it, but it didn't have all like the energy that I could use.
Right.
The sensor like bear that someone had made, we got a few things off that as well. When the green grid was on it, it had actually went off about 5 times, I think, in one room, which was pretty good, because we weren't really expecting anything, because the first room that we had went in, nothing really happened that much.
Right.
So it was quite good to experience that, and it was like my first time as well, like going somewhere, doing stuff like that.
That's cool. I mean, that was your first one. You must want to go on some more now then, I'm guessing, Ollie.
Yeah, I've actually booked back onto the Hexham jail to see if we get any more stuff in, but I'm hoping...
Hey, well, good luck to you. You started early. You've had some results already. Fantastic. Good on you, mate. Anything else?
No, that was it.
You've done well. Thank you, Oliver. There you go, Oliver, Hexham Old Jail. And they're through the night. Catherine is with us in Fenham. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, darling.
Sounds fine, thank you.
Good. What can we do for you?
I want to talk about ghost hunts and everything spooky again.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure. Whatever you wish.
You were asking the other night about suggestions on where to go.
Yes.
On Facebook, and I've just put on like Cheltenham Castle or Kielder Forest.
Yeah, Kielder. We've done Kielder Castle on radio a couple of times. I think we really need to do it on camera as well because it's a place to be seen. And also Kielder Forest itself. It's one of the darkest places about, and I know there's a signal difficulties and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. We should still absolutely do it because it is spectacular. You're quite right. So have you been any of these places and had anything happen to you or what?
Yeah, I've done quite a few ghost hunts. Obviously with COVID, it's just sort of come to a standstill.
Absolutely.
I don't know, one in an old police station. I'm not sure whether it was over in Concert.
Right,
That was quite exciting as well. And I went into the toilet, and as soon as I went in, the chain started flushing.
Right.
That was really strange.
Right, yeah.
Also the Victoria Tunnel. One of my friends who's a medium, she gave me this machine. I'm not sure what it is, but it's you sort of like hold it and you can see the outlines of figures.
Right, yes.
We've got quite a bit on that as well. I've been quite a few all over actually. But I know when my friends come to my house, they always say they can feel something as soon as they walk in. They seem to follow me around. My nephew years ago stayed in the house while I was on holiday, and he just got halfway through the night, and then he decided that he couldn't stay any longer, and he had to leave.
Why? What was it? Like a pressure on him, or was he seeing and hearing things? What was it?
He was just saying to feel a presence, and he could hear noises.
Right. Yeah.
So there's been a few things over the weekend. My television was keep changing channels. The remote was nowhere near me, and it was just keep back and forwards. And that went on sort of all night, Friday and Saturday. So
That's a bit scary, but it's also really annoying, isn't it? You know, that sort of thing. I'm just watching Law and Order. Let's see if he... Oh, blame me. Antiques what? Where was that again? No, that must drive you mad.
It was really weird, actually. We're nowhere near it whatsoever, and it would just keep changing from one side to another.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
It wasn't somebody that used to have your telly and he's going past your window with a remote control, is it?
No, it was a new television. I was just wondering as well, when you do a ghost hunt, is there any chance that I could join you?
Absolutely. We've got a viewer / listener, viewer, coming out with us this coming Thursday. So we're going to a castle, and we're there this Thursday. So and then of course it goes out to everybody on Friday. So we slightly changed what we're doing with things, but we think it's very much for the better. So get a letter in, send a little something to us, and let us know why you want to go and the kind of place you'd most want to go. Because we want to take you where you want to go. And if you've been to a place 1,000 times, pointless coming with us. You've already been. But if there's a place that you want to go to that you've never been to, they're the kind of ones that we're prone to go to because we want you to have a completely brand new experience.
Yeah, I've done the Sunderland Museum a few years ago as well.
Right,
And I've actually caught a spirit on camera.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and also on when I was watching you last ghost hunt in the cemetery the other day, I took a screenshot and you can actually see it all.
Wow, there
and
you
also it was like a green. It looked like a moon, but it was green.
Right.
I'll send it in to you as well. Let you have a look at that.
It was funny because in the second part that we did, I was getting a smoky little girl on my right hand side, kind of swirling around me in those absolutely freezing little circle right next to me. And every time I put my arm down, there was smoke curling around. Couldn't understand that at all. And Tony was just filming a field area, and we were getting a little bit of mist, but there was black things walking through the mist. And you're thinking, blimey, I mean, and I know that you can't book a ghost for the night or say, hey, could we have them all out tonight because we're here with a camera. We know that that's not possible. It's just when you look, and it's kind of, you know, some people say, I've never seen a ghost and I'm 52 years of age. And you think, well, have you ever looked? And they go, no. And so when you actually do look, it's surprising the amount of stuff you actually get.
I think the one that you did as well in Jesmond in the park
Yes.
there.
Yeah, oh,
That's
blimey.
actually seen a black figure walking up. I think you spotted it as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
And also
I mean,
that woman at the window that we caught full on, which is you'd never think in a million years. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Catherine. Thank you for your kindness. Get a letter in, though, please.
Can I just say one more thing as well?
Of course you can, yeah.
Just to mention to my friend, she's called Anne Lenier.
Uh-huh.
She's done a great North Run today.
Hey, well done, Anne.
Folk Association. And she said she was trying to get a selfie, but to send a picture to me, but then you got a selfie with somebody else.
Well, she should have just waited. Patience, you see, it's virtue. Hey, good stuff, though, Catherine. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, it was kind of selfie central today. Amazing. 0191 488 3188. Get the calls in. We have another star coming out at night for you. She's a belter as well. Great voice. Edwin is next door, and he's in Gateshead. Hello, Edwin.
Hello, Andrew. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Alan Yari.
I'm all right, man.
Ghost on Spring, we more last us on it. So it's on a Thursday for the supporters and Friday for non-supporters.
That's how it works, yeah.
That's great,
Champion. So we had a lot of people saying that a lot of people wanted it on Friday night at the very beginning, bizarrely. So anyway, it's where it is now. So happy days. What can we do for you though? What do you want to talk about?
Just a couple of things. I wish you all the best with it, right? And I hope you get more supporters and that.
Thank you, man.
And that Trevor that was on earlier about Newcastle, I feel the same way. It's just frustrating, isn't it? What's happening there? I mean, he's obviously a loyal supporter, but he's fed up like everybody really what's happening at the town, isn't he?
But are we fed up with the wronging? You know, should we be fed up with Ashley more than Bruce? Or why is it that everybody seems to be...
Isn't it?
Yeah, but a lot of people are talking about... A lot of people are talking about Bruce all the time, though, it seems. I mean, Bruce has got it in the neck, hasn't he, for the last season and a half, really?
Right. Well, he's just like a cog in a machine, isn't he?
Mm.
But he's really, at the end of the day, it's up to Ashley. He could have started the club years ago. I used to go with my son, who started down from when he was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves the club like me, but I said, I've said to him a couple of weeks ago, he's fancy going back. He said, I'm not going back when he's still there. I'll come when he leaves.
Right.
I'm not going back. It's just pointless.
Yeah.
But I think he's just getting frustrated when he's selling players and not bringing anybody else in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that it's one of those situations where, because everybody that's watching, or the vast majority of people that's watching, they've already got it down on the management before you even start. And then they're not happy with the manager, and some of the players, I don't think, sweat enough and put the effort in for the club. That you can see they're playing for their wages. They're not playing for the badge. There's a lot.
He must be quite thick-skinned, must be actually, because you can clearly hear what the fans are chanting, what they're singing, or have done in the past, and he still sits through it. He must be thick-skinned. Because I can hear it when I'm in the house. You can hear what they're saying.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
but you not think if you're a multi-millionaire and you know that no matter who you put out there, you know, if you put a donkey in a black and white shirt, and let's face it, they have on occasions, haven't they? So if you put a donkey in a black and white shirt, you'll still get 50,000 people wanting to go and see him. You know, that's the loyalty of the club.
He's going to be hitting the pocket, you know, I think, where people just stop going, and I know it's not right, but it's the only way to hit him in the pocket, really, because that's all he thinks about, isn't it?
But you know yourself that the black and whites are a loyal bunch. They're going to thick and thin. You know, that's the deal, isn't it? You know, thick and thin. Yeah.
Supporters, right. Something else I was wanting to talk about educating kids at school about like discipline and respect between the sexes. Something I tell you just a couple of weeks ago, where they're going to teach boys from being young to respect girls.
Mm-hmm.
It works both ways, I think, really.
Right.
I mean, who can feel to take advantage of a situation where, and I've been in a situation, a few times where relations broke up, it's went in the favour of the woman, you know. Open fear to take advantage of the situation, that works in their favour.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it works in their favour.
I was going to say, because when I was a kid, I went to an old boys' school, and girls who were like 2 years younger than we were kind of more mature than we were. And I never understood that. And they could always wrap you around their pinky if they wanted to, couldn't they? You know.
Yeah. Oh, I remember some of the night classes that were at school. There was a few of the other ones that were canny. I used to wear monkey boots and stuff like that. They're still canny lasses, but I remember them days. Off food as well.
Yeah.
I think the shops should take some of the burden of the cost of food now, with people being in food banks, empty food banks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The quality of food, I think, should go up. You know, because sometimes the quality of food is not really that good, you know. There's a lot of sugar. Like, fat and salt serves a purpose, but sugar doesn't, you know.
Right.
There's a lot of sugar in food, and you need to take that out, really. That's more like a drug in on your body than a nutrient.
No, absolutely.
Really dangerous stuff.
No, for
Wash your
sure.
teeth and everything.
No, you don't need to tell me what. We're the diabetic brigade, so we know all about that. We've been warned, we've been threatened. But Edwin, good catching up. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Take care, mate.
Top call as ever. There you go. Kids at school, what should they be taught? And should you get into how boys should talk and deal with girls, and how girls should talk and deal with boys? Or is that not just something that you learn naturally in conversation and stuff? You have to be taught. This is a girl. I mean, because the only thing we did in a boys' school, you got a big image on the blackboard of the insides of a boy below the waist with all the extra bits. And then on the other side, a girl who didn't have any of them other thing, but they had this other thing. And to be quite honest, we were at an age where nobody had ever seen, touched, had any experience of anything like that. And we were trying to work out what are we supposed to do? What have they got? And I remember as a little kid playing the, would you want to come in? I'll show you mine. And you show me yours. I felt robbed. I had someone to show her. She had no one to show me. 0191 488 3188. And I would have been about 11. So that, dear me. Happy days. 0191 488 3188. How did you get to learn about all this stuff? Was it at school? Did your mum and dad sit you down and have the talk? I'd be fascinated to hear your views on all of that. And let us go and talk to Val, who is in the city of Durham. Hello, Val.
Hello, Alan.
Hello there. What you got for us all?
Well, I answered a query on your Facebook page about haunted places.
Oh, right, thank you. Right.
Yeah, and the suggestion I had was Durham Castle.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I think that's on university ground these days, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I know that I've been there about 7 or 8 years ago when we were doing radio stuff, but it would look great on camera, wouldn't it? That would be spectacular.
It's a beautiful place, it surely is.
Any experience there?
Not personally, but before I retired, I had the privilege of working with a gentleman by the name of David Butler, who does the guided tours of Durham.
Oh, fabulous. Great.
And one in particular he used to do around about Halloween was the ghost tour of Durham.
Right. Uh-huh.
So he had quite a few stories to tell.
I bet he does. By goodness. Hey, tremendous. Thank you for that. Well, hey, we'll put it on our list and try and make that happen too.
There's the Norman Chapel.
Right, yes.
Who the other reason I sort of know of the castle is because I have a friend who does the guided tours of the castle itself.
Fantastic. Hey, well, hook us up.
They can only take place obviously when the students aren't on there, and it's usually during the summer holidays.
Right.
And in particular, she will not go anywhere near this Norman Chapel on her own.
Right.
It's and it does have a history of haunting.
Right.
But the most haunted part of the castle is the Black Stairs.
Right.
So if you ever get the chance of bringing your team up and going inside,
We'll be there, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, we'll make a point of it. We'll get the letters and the phone calls off. But thank you very much, Val. Top suggestion. Appreciate it.
okay, no worries.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Tour of Durham Castle. Why not? Cliff is in Gateshead. Hello, Cliff.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate.
Well, I'm in QE still.
Oh, no. I was hoping you were ringing up to say I've been set free. You've been allowed back into nature again. Oh, my goodness. What's happening? What's going on?
Well, I come in here the 4th of August, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk for a fortnight. I was like paralysed, you know. I couldn't get on my feet and out, you know.
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting back on my feet now. But
brilliant.
There's a big lack of carers. You've got to wait for a carer package before you can get to the hospital now.
What? I mean, so you've got to have somebody that can come to the house and help you.
Right. But there's no carers, so they're not letting you go unless you've got carers.
So you're there forever then?
Forever, aye.
What? That doesn't make any kind of sense.
You can't get out of here because of COVID regulations, you know. You're locked in on the floor, you know. You can't leave the floor.
Right.
It's a hopeless situation with these carers and all that, like.
So, I mean, what happens then? There's not enough carers, we know, and we know that a lot of people that were considered carers and a lot of the basic National Health Service work were carried out by people usually from overseas. We're not getting any of them now because of pulling out Europe. And we know that there's something like 12,000 down. How the hell do we get you out of there? You're gonna be like 95 by the time you get out.
Not just that, but there's an overspill from COVID cases now, like people needing care after having COVID, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's a massive situation at the minute, like, for them.
But surely it costs more money to keep you in than to set you free. Surely, to goodness.
Well, this is it. But if you discharge yourself, you're like you do where you like free care and that. You don't get your free care and that because you've discharged yourself.
So they're blackmailing you to stay prisoner.
Very more.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
So they're doing the best, for everybody. You know.
No, I know that,
but off their feet, you know what I mean.
I know, but even so, you just want to be home, don't you?
Of course.
Hell's bells.
There's a healing, man.
I can't imagine. But it's just, if you could see, if they say, in 3 weeks we'll have somebody that'll be able to, that would make sense to me. But they're not saying that. They're just saying, well, you're here. And
what they said was they put us in an interim place, and they want us to go into a care home, like an old people's home.
How old are you?
67.
That's kind of, I know, an oldie people. So, and I know if I was 17, I might be thinking, he's getting on. But if you're a proper age, somewhere in the middle, you think, well, that's nout. You've got another 10, 20 years before you even think about that kind of stuff.
Well, I've had the COVID injections, so I didn't want to do that anyway,
Ay. What a clown.
Strange situation.
How are you feeling? Because you're obviously feeling like you're getting better.
Oh, I'm getting better. I know I'm getting strong every day now, Like I say, the care you get off the nursing here is incredible, For the money they're getting paid off the government's just ridiculous,
So hang on, just thinking here. You won't get any free care if you discharge yourself. Do you think you'll get strong enough at any point to say, well, I don't need any care now. I'm up. I'm at it. I can, I can take it from here. Do you think you could get to that kind of point or not?
I will get to that point, but still, if I work with myself, I still deal with my free care, sort of. You know what I mean?
But what free care would you need beyond that?
Well, you get well, I don't need much beyond that, but when you leave hospital, you get like 6 weeks free care at the home,
Right, I understand.
Home,
And it's the perfect safety net because you don't know how well you are until you actually give it a go.
Oh, that's it.
Right, so you're waiting for it. I'm just imagining, another 30 years goes by and Cliff rings from Gateshead and he's still in the damn hospital. He said, still haven't got enough carers yet.
There's 6 people in this ward, the same. There's 6 in the other.
But you see, if they're thousands down nationally, and they are,
So,
how long's it going to be for all of you guys then? It's like a bottomless pit you're trying to climb out of. It's ridiculous.
And there's more and more people coming to hospital all the time as well. You know, looking over beds for people. And we are stuck here in the way, more or less.
They're going to have to do that thing they used to do with me when I was a kid, where you sleep one at the top and one at the bottom.
Aye.
Have 2 plates of meat facing you when you wake up in the morning. There you go.
It's getting crazy. I tell you what, mate, it really does your head in, man, because you're locked up for now, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of a medical prison, because they can't let you move anywhere because of the restrictions.
It's so sad when you think of what we used to be like. You know what we're like now. It's really sad.
The world has turned in a peculiar way, and we're worse off at every level, aren't we? You know. We're not getting food on the shelves. Where taxes are just about to rocket up, because obviously the government's got no money because they've spent so well looking after us. Not sure that that's true. But
I bought a new car the day I happened to be fall. You know, I had one trip in it, and I had the fall, and I filled it up with diesel and stand at the door. I haven't used it.
Just teasing you. It's teasing you. Oh my goodness.
Doing me head in.
Mind you, it's one of those things that you know, in 20 years, somebody from the Antiques Roadshow is going to troll up and say, it's only done 7 mile. This one, hey.
I'm going to have to put snow tires on when I get out.
Hey, well, let's just hope you're fit enough to do it. Good to hear from you, Cliff. Keep me posted.
Alan, if you want to see your ghost night, you know, if you want to see a good, what do you call them, orbs?
Uh-huh.
If you want to see a really good orb,
right.
Shiremore Centre.
Shiremore, right?
Go and see the caretaker. Between 9 o'clock, he'll tell you, between 9 o'clock and 9:15 every night time, once it gets quiet, you'll see this orb will come down the passage on the camera. You never seen no light in eye like me. I couldn't believe my eyes, mate, when I seen it. Couldn't believe my eyes, mate.
Well,
I'm going to try and get a DVD off it.
Tony's just writing that one down too. Hey, great again. Cliffy, all the best, man. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. Oh, my goodness, he's still in there. You can't get out until we get carers, and we're something like thousands of carers short. And also, Tony, the story from when you were 11 has just reminded me. I saw a little ginger fuzzy caterpillar this morning. Not that impressive, to be honest. Right, I saw a little ginger fuzzy caterpillar. Yeah, there are caterpillars that bore a strange resemblance. When I was 11, it's just getting me back for the 83-year-old suggestion. 0191 488 3188 star coming out at night. The Pretenders. Oh, what a band. Chrissy Hind, let's talk to her. What about stuff?
Oh, I've had some knee operations. I've had some knee injuries on tour. Feet, just, wear and tear. That's all.
So basic MOT stuff. That's what we're talking about here. Okay. What are you frightened of? You got any rational or irrational fears?
Okay, well, I wouldn't want to talk about them because I don't like to evoke. But yeah, I mean, I can get the supernatural. I can get a little bit derailed if I'm, if I feel something isn't quite right there. But who's I've not particularly.
That was going to be my next question: whether you'd ever seen a ghost or experienced anything vivid that was.
I think I've experienced. I'm quite sensitive. Have I seen a ghost? Yeah, I'm not sure if I have. I mean, it seems like the kind of thing you remember, but I've forgotten a lot of things, so I may well have.
But you're open to you when you say you're sensitive. How does that show itself?
Well, I was in Woodstock making a record up at a place that Albert Grossman had, Bearsville Studios, and I was staying in the one cottage there, and I couldn't stay in there without every light in the house on, and I'm not really a very nervous person.
Sure.
And no one could. I couldn't even go in that house. I had to move out of that house.
Wow.
In fact, it was a little cottage, and then I later, when I went up to catering, someone said, "Oh, you were down in Turtle Creek," and they all looked at each other, and I thought, there was that. There's been that was quite a notorious place.
Right.
I've walked into a hotel room, turned around and walked back down to the desk and said, I can't stay there, and found out that someone jumped out of the window a couple weeks earlier.
Whoa.
So I'm quite sensitive
No,
to that.
you do pick stuff up. That's
sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so thanks for mentioning it, because, I try not to think about that stuff too much.
Right, okay. We'll leave it where it is, locked away.
It did this before. I want to try something different. Let's try this. Let's open the portal. Who was with me before? Who was with me before? Who was the little girl? Who was the little girl? Set the children free. Someone's just said set the children free. What's the little girl's name? What's the little girl's name? What was the little girl called? Betsy. Betsy. What's her name, Betsy? Betsy? Is that her name?
It's on the screen.
We got ghosts moving across the screen. That's ridiculous. We can see images of people. Look, they're people.
It looks like it.
They're people walking across the screen.
Kenny was last seen in this direction as well.
That's ridiculous what we're getting there. That's impossible. That's impossible. Oh, wow. Oh, do you see that? It's the movement of the dead almost. They're walking across. Some are bigger than others. Some are children. Some are adults. It's not just the smoke. It's the blackness and the. You see the blackness?
I see the blackness, yeah. It looks like it's just amazing.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Oh. Absolutely full on.
Directions after a while. It's amazing. What the hell could do that?
Smoke
I don't know how you would even think to try and replicate it. It is physically like people coming out of the ground. It's incredible the stuff that we've picked up in recent weeks. 0191 488 3188. Do not forget, if you want to watch, want to try and test this out, head in the direction on a Friday night now. It's 9 o'clock Friday, and we'll be doing our thing. It's just bizarre, the whole thing. Really is. And we'd love you to have a look at it.
You should actually try this.
And it is time for a...
It's all right here. There's like a coldness moving.
Take the battery out and I'll come and have a look.
That's just bizarre.
You can't really see it yellow.
No, but God, that's another one of those things, where leads down to a grave. Because we said there's 7,000 people here. We've probably only seen 150 graves.
Yeah, you can't really see. It's weird. That must be Kenny.
That's Kenny.
That must be Kenny.
Arriving like thunder.
Jesus.
He's got the strongest torch. But are people are still walking across the beam? We've got to show.
You can't even see it here.
Some of them are walking behind you now. They're walking the other way. And in the distance you can see, Kenny, that's what that bright light is.
Amazing.
It's funny because, you know, when we were watching it, they were all going right to left. Some of them are going left to right now. Do you see?
It's amazing that. Oh, what's this?
We've got to show Kenny.
I'll just keep it there.
Kenny! Come on, mate. Do you feel a bit like Billy No Mates? Sorry we left you. There's a whole other graveyard down that hole where you went. We went right the way around. We found the graves of the 4 soldiers. And it's the creepiest thing you've ever seen in your life. However, Tony's decided to position something, and you can see images of the dead moving past. You come and see it. He's not going to move it till you get there.
Right. So,
where have you been?
Talking to her, she's a spiritualist, right?
She?
I
thought there were 2 kids.
No. It's his mum. She's a spiritualist. She walks all the time. Elizabeth normally walks from there to there, she says. About 20-year-old, but she appears as different things. She normally scratches your neck.
What's your step?
Especially men. She does like her, so she'll scratch their necks. Show that the beam here.
Look.
And William John Hall.
Look at the blackness in the beams moving left and right. See the ghosts moving left and right.
That is crazy.
How could you explain that if it's not spirit? What is it?
People are saying mist, but it's the blackness in the mist what we're looking at,
It's
not the mist.
Not the mist. The mist is neither
It's
here
the
nor
blackness
there.
in
So
the
every
mist.
now and then, there. Look. You see the black?
Mm-hmm.
And it's stopped and it's turned and it's gone back the other way.
So it's not
Look.
yeah.
It's not the mist. It's the black things in the mist. There. Wow.
Whoa,
Look at that.
Look at that.
Where's that?
It's right there. Just.
She says it walks from that side to that side.
Well, there's something walking right now.
There's William John Hall and Elizabeth.
I just was irritated that it was them because it
Just
wasn't
the
them
whistling.
here.
No,
but it was them there.
Yeah, it was them there.
Ah, damn it.
She comes here every couple of weeks. She's put salt down next to them trees for safety. She'll not come any further than that.
There's no wind. There's no wind.
There's no wind
Just to
sending anything
confirm
anywhere.
that someone said it could be wind, but it's
no
calm
wind.
as anything.
She's put salt down there.
Owls with Alan Robson.
What are we talking about next? You make the call. 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
We are very, very close to our 3rd clue, which is only 20 minutes away from our 4th clue. So get ready for that if you can use the little grey cells. We are heading in the direction of, it's Vancouver in Canada, no less. And let's see what Darlene has for us. Hello, Darlene.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. Good to talk to you. Thank you for calling. What can we do for you, darling?
Well, today I was just looking at when you went to Horton Cemetery.
Yes.
And I used to go to school in Horton, and it jogs my memory when you mentioned about William Standish's head being kicked about like football.
Yes.
And around about 1972, they found a hand under our biology lab. And then the police just came, they wrapped it in newspaper and they took it away. And that's all I can remember about that.
Wow.
But my friend did see the fingers and they had flesh on it. So I don't think it was William Standish's hand, but maybe, someone else from another grave that had been vandalised or whatever.
Well, I mean, the cemetery apparently was used, fairly recently, within the last 30, 40 years. So
yeah.
I suppose it depends how well embalmed and, whatever the conditions are below ground. But I just don't see it. I'm a big fan of respect when it comes to people that are passed over, and somebody just opening a grave just to destroy a body. What kind of person?
And then who would want to pick a hand up from the graveyard, carry it all the way down to school and dump it under the biology lab?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, absolutely. But mind you, in fairness, we have heard stories of medical students, taking a hand out and keeping it in in the fridge, and we don't know how true a lot of these things are. But if you have somebody that's donated their body to medical science, we know there's bits out there that ultimately will be reburied, we hope. But it's just, even the thought of all of that's horrible, isn't it? Just awful.
I know.
Right.
It is.
So what got you over there then? Yeah, you're in Vancouver. How cool is that?
Yeah, I used to live in Axel Park, so I wasn't very far from you.
Right.
It's just as good as the rest, I suppose. I mean, I was born on a Thursday, and my mother always said I had the gypsy in it, so I'll just blame that. I'll just blame the excuse. But I do miss home. I do get homesick. And I did buy your book, Grizzly Tales from Northumbria, which I thoroughly enjoyed reading.
Good, thank you. That was nice of you. Thank you.
But like a few years ago, I would never have dreamed of reading anything like this because I would have been too scared. But since I came here, I've had so many spooky things happen and scary things that now I'm just fascinated. I just read it. Mind, I do get scared when it gets dark.
So, you've got over the hump, really. At first it was, don't want to get involved with that kind of thing. But you mentioned that you've had some really scary things happen. What's the worst or the most vivid thing that's occurred then?
The worst thing that happened to me was when we came here, we decided to buy a house.
Right.
And we looked around and we'd driven past, there was a house on a corner and we'd driven past it so many times, but it was too expensive.
Right.
So I never looked at it. And one day I said, let's look at it. So we went in and it was nice. So we made an offer and it was accepted.
Wow.
Now, the history of the house, let me tell you the history. It was only built about 1986.
Right.
It was empty when we moved in, well, before when we looked at it, because it had been rented.
Right.
The guy that owned it lived in Hong Kong, and the people that owned it before him were Italian who had lived there.
Right.
And my husband's a bit intuitive, and we had very high ceilings in the bedroom, and up one part, it went to a point. It was very, very high. And we had like a balcony with French doors. And he told me one day he'd seen a shadow walk past it. And I said, don't tell me, I'm too scared. Anyway, this night, my son was only little and he was scared to sleep by himself. So I would sleep with him and then in the middle of the night creep out.
Yeah.
And this night I went back into my bedroom and I was wide awake. It was not sleep paralysis. I was wide awake. And I was lying there and I said in my head, I'm not scared of you. And there was this voice, but it came to my back. It was talking to me in the back of my head, and it said, why are you creeping down the bedclothes then? And I was edging underneath the sheet because I was terrified. And I thought, oh, my God, it can see me. And then I felt from my feet, I felt as if a sheet was on my feet, and it was going all the way up. And I knew, and as it was going up, I was paralyzed. And I knew that when it got to my throat, I would die. And I used to have these dreams that if I was in the bedroom and the bedroom door closed, I would die. And even if I went on the landing, I would die. I had to be 2 stairs down to be safe. Anyway, this sheet started to come up and I didn't know what to do. I was screaming. Nobody heard it. And it was coming up and it got to like my chest. And I thought, oh my God, it's going to hit my throat. So I didn't know what to do. So I said the Lord's Prayer. And as I finished, the sheet started to go back down until it got right to my feet again, and it disappeared. And anyway, and then my husband woke up, and I was hysterical by this time, and I've been punching him and everything, and he wouldn't wake up, and I was having hysterics. Right? So then, a couple of days later, I've been reading in the newspaper about bats carrying rabies.
Yes.
And the next day I'd gone to the shops or something, and my daughter phoned me and she said, there's a big bird in your bedroom. And I'm thinking, well, how can that be? All the windows are shut. I said, leave the door shut. I'm coming. Don't go in that room. I dashed home. I searched high and low. There was nothing in that house. Nothing at all. And then a few years later, I was talking to a woman I started to work with, and we were talking about ghostly things. And she said her friend lived in this house and it was haunted, and they were so badly terrified they moved out. And I found out it was my house. And then when we put it up for sale, because I thought I can't stay here any longer, the Italian guy that used to own it came. We had a restaurant, and he came in and he said, "You're living in that house? You're selling it?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Have you heard any
goings on of strange things. I went, you have to talk to my husband. I cannot talk to you about this. I'm too scared. And I don't know, but I think he brought it in with a Ouija board. But there was definitely something. And since then, it's been sold twice since then. And I have heard that people are still having
problems with
things happening.
Yeah.
So I take it wasn't sleep paralysis. It was definitely a haunting. But it frightened the life out of me, I tell you. Except the day I moved, I said, bye, ghost. And I walked out the door and that was it.
Done.
That's just one of my tales.
But that, you see, when people have experiences, I thought you dealt with it really well. And I know a lot of it was kind of out of panic, especially when you're like, let's read the Lord's Prayer. It's a good job the ghost happened to be a Christian.
I know. And the thing is, he was talking in the back of my head, and it was a man, and he was talking English. He was speaking English, and it was definitely a man. And you know, but I was terrified. But and then I started to have ghosts on the computer, where normally I'd be scared watching the Hammer House of Horror.
Right, yeah.
And all of these things was happening. I was like, Jesus.
Hey, well, congratulations. At least you confronted these things. You know, a lot of people they say nothing. I'm gonna if I ignore it, it doesn't exist, and that's not really the way they deal with it. I thought you've played a blinder, really. But well done. And lovely talking to you, Darlene. Thank you so much for coming on. Lovely to hear from you.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. How about that? Darlene, I'm guessing it's about 7 o'clock at night in Canada where she is. And Darlene in Vancouver. Lovely. 0191 488 3188. Let's talk to Deborah, who's in Cramlington. Hello, Deborah.
Hiya.
Evening. What you got for us all?
Are you all right?
Yeah, good, thank you.
No, it was just like when I seen online actually that you were like doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't listened to you for years. Years ago, I mean, I'm 44 now. When I was 15,
right,
partner I was with at the time, every time we fell out, he used to ring you to talk to you.
What, just to badmouth you?
Yeah, no, it was a case of I'd get my last bus home,
right,
and would fall out, and then I'd get in, I'd go to my mum would go, oh, John's on night hours, he's talking about you, and I'd go to my room.
Fantastic.
Do you know what I mean? It was great. I mean, I felt pregnant with him, and I had a daughter with him.
Right.
We've been estranged for years because, like, he lives in Spain now and stuff like that. But we still keep in touch from time to time.
Right.
But just one of the biggest memories coming back from our youth was you, Alan Robson. Every time we fell out, he'd be on that bloody phone to you.
Well, obviously the advice I gave him he didn't follow. Otherwise, he'd be still by your side. You see, that's the thing.
No, well, that's the thing. Yeah, when we were very young. I mean, we were 15 when we met.
Ah, blimey, right.
When I was 17 when I had my firstborn.
Right.
And difficulties through life and stuff like that. Everyone's got them.
Sure.
I mean, we used to go to karaoke's with my mum and stuff like that, and she used to say, "Oh, don't forget his purse and stuff like that, and you leave him alone, and you'd be pulling his top down, make sure his hair's done, and all this." You know, and I was like, leave him alone. I was in love. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But no, he came out not long after I had the bairn. He was gay.
Well, what?
You know? So that's why we argued, because he was battling with that.
Gotcha. I understand. Because I always never fully understood, you know, because loads of blokes would ring me up and say, Alan, you're experienced with women. I'm thinking, yes, but I've been divorced 5 times, so I'm not that clever. I'm not that good. What are you asking me advice for? It's kind of, you're asking for a slippery slope right there. But good luck with that. So, I mean, have you ended up happy? That's the main thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've ended up with 4 kids. I'm 44 now.
Right.
I've got 4 children. My last one is just in our last year of high school this year.
Right. Oh, yeah. So you're nearing freedom. I was going to say, yeah, you're nearing freedom.
I am. It's great. It's bloody great, I tell you. You can go out without a babysitter.
Wow. Who'd have thought? That's tremendous. Hey, no, it's good hearing from you, Deborah. I'm glad I played a little part in your earlier life. That was sweet.
Oh, it was great. You used to always listen to you falling asleep.
Champ, well, I was trying to keep you awake, so it just shows you how effective I've been over the years.
Oh,
there
definitely.
you go. Hey-ho.
It's the voice, Alan. It's the voice.
Hypnotic.
It's the voice.
Thank you kindly. Well, good to hear from you. Thanks for coming on, darling.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, how nice is that? Just nice that people give it down. I've met a lot today that were very, very kind. Going to play you a little piece of music, then we're going to take a break. But I want to dedicate this to everybody who's put a fortune into the coffers of various charities today on the Great North Run. Anybody that's listened to me for 5 minutes will know I'm a huge fan of the Beatles. And I'm a Lennon man, really. He kind of leads the way, in my opinion, on many things. And this is just the classic. So, Great North Run, anybody that supported them, anybody that's put their hand in their pocket to help charities start to re-establish themselves again, this is for you.
Misty thing there as well, just next to your hand it was.
No?
It was like a little mist next to your hand there, just when you had your hand out, but it's gone now.
Well, the point I was...
Mist in the torch, kind of.
Yeah, it was like a mist thing.
In the beam.
Did you see it?
Just see it then, and told it was next to your hand. When you put your hand out there, it was there.
The point I was making though is, have you seen how many insects there are on these?
Oh, yeah.
They're just creepy crawling in all directions. I wonder what that black thing was. It was about child size.
Yeah, just sort of here.
Yeah. It's supposed to be the ghost of a little 3-year-old girl that crawls around. Apparently.
Well, we've definitely heard voices already.
And it was coming from down here.
But not childish voices.
It was like a scream. I thought it sounded childish,
Yeah,
like child.
Did you?
Yeah. Definitely coming this way.
Well, it's supposed to be a little girl. And it was thought back in the day that the child was left by a mother to die here. You know, brought a child to a cemetery and just dumped it. And the child lost its life. It died here, and they found a baby. That's the side. Whether it's true or not, who the hell knows? But that's the story. Can't believe how many nooks and crannies there are here, though. Oh. Because this was where the voices were coming from. Just can't believe, oh, there's another little dell. Is that another one? There.
Look at the height of those trees that cover
the cliff.
The whole cliff. Me.
It's very unpleasant.
I don't think I've ever been in a place like this where you can swing your torch and you just see all of that like that. It's just ridiculous.
There's another ghost supposed to be here of a man called Joseph Pearson. Joseph Pearson worked on the railway here. And Kenny, I know you actually love all that, the railway stuff.
I do.
Joseph Pearson,
yeah,
on a railway nearby, train goes over him, train driver sees that he's hit this man, stops the train, everybody in the train shuggles like it would. Train driver gets out, looks all around the train, finds his head, just his head. Now, isn't it funny, because we mentioned how Standish's grave had been violated and his head was kicked around. There's a thing about heads connected to this place. So they only found his head, and they buried his head here in the ground, unmarked grave, just his head. However, that was in April, right?
Right.
Autumn arrives, all the trees start to shed their leaves, and next to the railway line, where the railway driver had hit Pearson, his skeleton, headless, was hanging in a tree. And when all the leaves fell off the tree, they found his skeleton. And then they brought it back here to return it to where they put his head. But they couldn't remember where they'd put his head. So his head's here, his body's here, in unmarked ground, could be underneath our feet as we speak. So you can understand why he's haunting this place. He just wants to get himself back together again. I think that's just the quarry wall. Did you hear that?
Keep hearing noises all the time. Yeah.
Just over here. It was kind of like a, oh. We're told that that little child kind of plays tricks on you. She's supposed to be mischievous. Are they walking at 3, Kenny? I've not got enough experience with.
Again?
Are children walking at 3?
Yeah. Good, yeah.
Because there's a 3-year-old here too, baby, and a 3-year-old. I just hate the fact that they've knocked all these graves down. It pains me. Oh, look at this. I got it. Are you picking these up, Tony?
I'm not. Hopefully the mics are, but I'm not hearing much over here.
I know I've got mine in a plastic bag tonight for safekeeping, but we're getting some serious voices here. Please listen out, and if you see anything, you can capture it now in a WhatsApp, and you can send us WhatsApps.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApps.
WhatsApp.
Isn't that what I said?
No, WhatsApp. WhatsApp. The app. Yeah.
That's not WhatsApp. It's WhatsApp.
No, it's WhatsApp. Yeah.
Right. So and you can send us, if you catch anything, WhatsApp it to us.
WhatsApp.
You know what to do. Just
the number's on the screen.
Please. I love technology. Sometimes it's best just to be quiet and see if we can catch those voices. Hello, speak to us. Was that just me, or did you hear the female voice?
I heard something.
Speak to us then. Hello. Talk to us. Hello. Give us a sign that you're there. Give me a sign that you're there. Come on. Any kind of sign. Talk to us. We're here for you. We're here to share with you. We wish you no harm. It's still bucketing down. And that's a nice fine tribute. Tony, to me, all of nature is here in one soundbite. Go down closer with your lamp and you'll see a huge, proper, old-fashioned cobweb with a spider right in the middle of it. Blackberries behind it and a beautiful flower as a tribute. Do you see the spider in the middle? I'll take the torch off. Kenny? No, go for it right in the middle. Do you see the spider?
No, not really.
Oh, shall I move it with my finger? Well, obviously, none of you are not going to show it. He's there. He's just right there, right in the centre. You see him? You want to zoom in? Well, he's a big guy. He's just turned his body around. You see him, Kenny?
Yeah, it's like Robert the Bruce.
He's huge.
Robert the Bruce.
He's a big one. You just see, you've got your blackberries to eat, you've got your spider catching the flies, life and death, and beautiful flowers all around. Got some stories about the colliery and some amazing stories of bravery. Look at that. Yeah, what's that? I saw it looked like.
Thanks, Sonny. It is now time for us to dive in and get a third clue on the board. The first clue. Now, all 4 answers have something very specific in common. Clue number 1 is this. A greatest hit from Sweet that is a warm drink. A greatest hit from the band Sweet that happens to be a warm drink. Second clue. Bryan Adams' greatest hit, Everything I Do It For You, was in a film about this hero. That's 2 clues. Third clue. The coolest Madonna greatest hit. What was the coolest Madonna greatest hit? Okay. 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come. And then you got to tell me what links all of the answers together. It's something very, very specific. Remember that. Okay, 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come on the last lap of the show. So dive in if you can. And we have Kelly, who is in Stanley. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, good morning. What are you talking about tonight, then?
You want to know about the sports injuries?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I haven't got any sports ones, but I've got some, like, stupid ones.
What happened then?
Like, I was at my mum's once, and she'd asked us to put some chips in the fryer.
Right.
That fryer.
Yeah.
But when I went to get it out, the handle had come off.
Oh.
So I had to use the, I used 2 forks to try and lift the basket out.
Oh, do you know, and I know exactly, this is the kind of thing that I would have done. Well, 2 forks will do. Oh, blimey. What happened?
Because of the steam, the forks were wet and my finger slipped into the oil.
Oh, that's just not funny. What happened?
God, I was absolutely terrified. I ran in. I was like, Ma, I think I've cooked my finger. She's like, what do you mean? I said, I've just deep-fried my finger. I thought I cooked the meat.
So what did you do? Straight under a tap? What did you do to it?
Straight under a tap. I stood there for about 20 minutes at max.
Did you lose any skin? What happened?
No, I was surprised. It was only seconds, but it hurt like hell.
Oh, yeah. 2 little chipolatas? That's just scary as... the thought. Do you know... Oh, no. Hot oil.
I laughed afterwards, but not at the time.
I had a chip pan fire, and I picked up... long story short, my sister lives in Germany, and she sent me what was a cauldron. And it was their version of a chip pan. It's a huge cauldron, and it's got a basket in it that when you cook your chips, you lift it up and you hang it on the 2 sides of the cauldron so that it drips, kind of thing. Well, I fell asleep and the chips went up and the kitchen went up. I know. And I run in, choking, because obviously black smoke, open the back door, which was right next to the cooker, and then see, I've got my little 15th hand Mini in the garage. I'm thinking, hell's bells. So I open the garage door and I decide I can't put it out because if you put the towel over the top, you know the wet tea towel trick? If you put the wet tea towel over the top, that should knock it out. It didn't. I could see the fire still burning in the middle, but I thought if I got a couple of towels, it's like your 2 forks, if I got a couple of towels, I could pick up the red hot pan and carry it out and through it.
It makes sense at the time, doesn't it, though?
In my head, it was, well, that's just what I'll do. Otherwise, the house is going to burn down. So I get it out. Halfway down the garage, I feel like I'm dropping it. So I run a little bit and and half of it goes down because I was in a pair of boots and, your comfy clothes. This is not a good look. And I've got big cowboy boots on over comfies, and the hot oil goes into the boot and cooks the bottom of my foot before I can get the boot off. Oh, my goodness. And then it's in the drive, fire brigade, ambulance, police, wet kitchen, ruined, smoke damage, all this. We're going to lock it up while we take you to hospital.
No.
7 months in crutches. Not funny. Not funny. Hot oil is just disgusting. Disgusting, nasty thing. So what else happened? Because sounds like you had a hat full of stuff happen to you.
Yes, another thing was I was on a night out, walking home as you do, took my shoes off, carrying them, and I was bursting for the loo.
Right.
So there was
Oh, dear.
there was a little like park, but it had like a little bit of wasteland bit next to it. So I thought I'm going to have to go for a wee. I can't make it home.
Right.
So gets in there, has me wee. Went to stand up, fell back and landed in a nettle bush.
Oh, that's not a place to be nettled, brained.
It's really not, no. I've never done it again.
So, right, how do you sort that out? Because presumably you cannot put like anything like Dettol on it or anything, because that's what you would do for a nettle. You'd stick a bit of Dettol on.
Plenty soda cream in there.
So I could imagine the next 3 days you were squishing.
I was walking a bit like John Wayne.
I bet. Oh, that's just not funny. I remember when I was little, my dad told me that if ever you need to go to the toilet, and I was, 7, 8, 9-year-old, just a bairn, because he used to take me fishing. Not that I could fish. He would fish, and I would just clot about. And he says, but if you really need to go to the toilet, and I did on this occasion, he says, get behind a wall where nobody can see you. And we don't have any toilet paper. And I don't know what happened, because now we always don't we take tissues everywhere now?
I do. I take them in my bag.
Even a toilet roll, you stick in the back of the car, whatever. But we never did that back then. He says, use a dock leaf. And I said, which one's a dock leaf? It's the big green ones. Use the green one as your toilet paper. So I'm thinking, perfect. Wait, they look alarmingly like a nettle.
Yeah.
And I picked the nettle, of course. But the nettle, it's only the top side that has prickles. So when you pick it up, the bottom side, you think, this obviously is a dock leaf. It's nice and soft. Then, I
can imagine. I know, I feel your pain.
It was like an octopus's beak for a fortnight. It was just... Hey, I tell you, wasn't that one funny either? So come on, what else? We're playing Sawbits Top Trumps here. I don't know whether you know.
Honest to God, I was like, curry got split into 2 halves, and I love curry.
Yeah.
I thought, right, I'll nip to the loo while I'm waiting.
Right.
Came back downstairs, but stupid me didn't turn the light on. So I walked down the stairs, thought I was on the bottom step already. I wasn't. So then I hit the floor a bit extra hard and I broke my toe.
Oh!
Me fifth, is it metatarsal or something?
Yeah, your little one, your baby toe.
I broke the bone.
And they don't do much for, it's not like they don't put your foot in a whole cast or anything for a toe.
Oh, they did.
Did they?
It was just below my toe.
Right.
Right. Like the bone.
Gotcha.
So I was in a cast for like 6 weeks. Just because I was hurrying to watch curry.
Yeah, what did you do? I stepped off a step.
I felt stupid, I did. I felt stupid because the doctor was like, oh, well, how have you done it? Like, probably expecting something a bit more normal. And I'm like, well, I fell off a step.
Yeah, it's just typical. And it's because you're not concentrating, you're in a hurry to do something. And I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, because everybody's expecting me to be like unconscious by now, because I've been up, it was a real early morning this morning. And I was thinking I was fine. And then I got an itch just above my eye. So I went to scratch it. I just put my finger right in my eye. And it was, when you're just not concentrating, it's that the second you lose focus, you're in trouble, I think.
Oh, I once got a, when the kids get them little art kits, and they've got the little plastic stars and stuff in, you can put them onto. I once got a little one of them stuck in my eye.
What? How the hell did you do that?
It was on my hand and I rubbed my eye and I didn't realise.
Talk about seeing stars. You had one stuck on your eyeball.
Sorry, I'm the most accident-prone person you'll ever meet. Like,
I think we've kind of worked that one out. Wow, that's tremendous.
That's another thing I meant to say as well. I was on last week and I was talking to you about the cross country in the knicker shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just come to find out after that call that your very own Chris was at the same school as me.
Give over.
And so he'll know all about that knicker shorts situation if you ask him.
Did you wear knicker shorts as well? He's nodding. Yeah, he's nodding. There you go.
He did. I bet he's going a bit red, isn't he?
He was probably there taking photographs, knowing him.
Oh, my God, don't say that.
It's really funny because if you didn't take your gym kit in, because I was an all-boys school, if you didn't take your gym kit in, you know, because a lot of people didn't like gym and they were making excuses, you had to do it in your underpants. And that really wasn't funny.
Well, that's how it felt to us.
Yeah.
It felt to us like we were just running around
In your
doing
pants.
normal knickers or something, right?
Nah, it's not right. Not right.
Have you seen Chris's Amarillo video that he's got on YouTube?
I'm afraid so. I think I caught it live when he was on Britain's Got Talent, and yeah, I saw it live and I thought it can't possibly. It is him. There he goes. Happy days. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Kel. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no bother, Alan.
Stay well. Don't hurt yourself
you too.
anymore. She should be in a big ball of cotton wool right now, just to be careful. John, Chesterler Street, talking about stuff. Hi, John.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, mate. What are you talking about?
First of all, Mary Wilson.
Yes.
In the early 80s, Alan, I went to see the Supremes at a venue in Hortley Spring.
Oh, brilliant.
It used to be called Green Halls, and then they changed it to the McEwen Centre, I think.
Yes, that's right.
And anyway, there were, of course, Diana Ross wasn't there, and Cindy Birdsong, naturally. It was
Sure.
just Mary and the two Supreme girls. And there was bus trips in from different parts of the region.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one particular bus trip in from Hartlepool.
Right.
Exactly. And anyway, she got up and naturally, she does her thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the bus trip from Hartlepool, full of the drink, as usual, they started to dance on the tables.
Aye.
And there was no stewards there to control it.
Right.
They ended up on the stage mooning.
Oh, no.
And the look on Mary Wilson's face was horrific.
No, I bet.
She kept the show going the best as she could, but it was you've got 7 or 8 guys in front of her mooning.
It's just
Now, can you imagine that?
horrific.
To this day, I'm embarrassed.
No, I bet.
And I often wonder what Mary Wilson must have thought when she went back and said to Berry Gordy, "I've just been to the northeast of England, and what a set."
This is how they behave.
It was unbelievable. And, in some ways, the management must be to blame. There was no stewards there keeping an eye on anything.
No, and you when you realise just how big an act the Supremes were and are.
I mean,
look at the catalogue of songs they've got, and the bottom line is, if you are a guest at a venue and you want other great bands to come,
that's right.
You don't create a storyboard that says you don't go there because they're animals,
Well, the thing is, she's obviously in her life, she's been in similar places.
I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is probably the first time she's ever been up this part of the world.
Right, yeah, maybe so. I can't remember the Supremes heading.
It was the early 80s, about 82.
Right.
And as I say,
They were massive then. I mean, superstars back then. I mean, now you could say they're a good age.
Actually, when they split up and the Supremes made Nathan Jones, that was only Mary Wilson, because Cindy Birdsong wasn't there, and of course Florence wasn't. I mean, I'm Motown throughout and
love it.
Yeah, I've run discos for years and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to this day, Alan, I feel embarrassed wondering what she must have said when she went back to Detroit and she was talking to Smokey Robinson and all them people.
Yeah.
And I feel embarrassed to this day, do you know that?
And if she did go back and say, "Hey, just make sure you don't go to," and it wouldn't be Hartlepool, it would be Hortley Spring. Don't go to Hortley Spring,
That's
man.
right, exactly, Alan.
Yeah.
It was
awful.
It was terrible because I was really wanting to see them. And I've never been back in that building since, Alan.
Right. I'm not surprised. I mean, who It doesn't matter how much you've had to drink. You've got a superstar group that you could have a sing song and a dance to.
Yeah.
Why would you want to just humiliate yourself? Because you're not humiliating her.
I mean, these guys, there was half a dozen long tables, a bit like a beer keller type of thing.
Gotcha.
And the drink was flying, as you can imagine. And all of a sudden, they were screaming, and then they were up on the stage, and when they started to drop the trousers, it was terrible.
Dear.
I felt so embarrassed, and if it hadn't have been that I wanted to be there, I would have walked out.
No, it's awful.
I would have done that, I would have walked out. It was so wrong, put it that way.
No, you're right.
And I mean, I've got all the records going back to my teenage years, and when you see something that you've never thought you would see, and then you've got to put up with this.
Yeah, but you see, you went for an amazing memory that you'd keep your whole life, and you got one, but it wasn't what you wanted.
That's right. I mean, I accepted the fact that the only Supreme there was Mary Wilson.
Sure.
And that's fair enough. You know, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And at the time, that had the hit with Nathan Jones as the Supremes.
Yeah. Mate, it's just wrong. At every level, it's wrong, man. But anyway, hey, thank you for telling me about it. Anything else, John?
I've got a couple of ghost stories if you want them.
Let's have them, by all means. Of course.
Well, my surveillance camera photographed a ghost, which I've got.
Wow.
And this was around about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And I got in touch with the ghost people in Durham, the lad that does the ghost trips.
Right.
Durham.
Yeah.
And he come down and he brought all his equipment and set it up, little transmitters, receivers, and you name it. He fitted the whole place out.
Right.
And in it, I had a lovely fireplace.
Right.
A coal fire. And as soon as he went to that fire, he felt a presence. He said, "There's something here." And it's exactly the fire is exactly the same one as what is in the original Durham jail, which is underneath Clout's nightclub.
Right, yes.
In which he'd done the ghost job on that one. And he said the fire is the same shape, same build, identical to that fireplace. And he was getting this feeling all the time, and it was affecting him. So, as I say, I showed him the photograph, and he looked at that, and all the stuff and stuff like that. And then he said, "I want to come back again." And he came back 2 or 3 times, and he came and he looked and he did that and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. And as I say, I've still got the photograph.
What is it that you caught then?
I beg your pardon?
You know, you talk about the photograph. What's actually on the photograph? What did you catch?
It's a head.
Wow.
Now
Right.
then, this is where I've done a little bit of. This might need a bit more corroboration.
Right.
But when the Doug Horton cut, it was dug by the French prisoners of war in the Napoleonic days.
Right.
And the prisoners were kept in a pub in Fenshausen called the Wellington.
Right.
That's the story. But the way I've traced it, they weren't kept in the pub. My garage was the jail.
Really?
And we're thinking this is one of the prisoners' heads we've got.
Wow.
This is the way we've worked it out.
Wow.
Right? Now, I've worked night shift in there many a time, and there's no spooks. There's nothing like that.
Right.
There's no untoward noises. But what did used to happen, my tools would disappear
Right.
and turn up again.
Right.
Like weeks later. I could never figure that one out. I used to think people were pinching them.
Right.
But they used to turn up. They just used to turn up.
No, there's been some strange ones like that. There was a story of one woman who she moved into a house and she I'm trying to get the story right. She moved into this house, brand new house. It had a lovely feeling, you know that this feels like home. She was very happy with it, and the child had like a loppy-eared rabbit that was the Ben's favourite toy. Child was like 2-year-old. And one afternoon, Ben's screaming and screaming and screaming. There's no rabbit. They searched the house. There's no rabbit. Cannot find the rabbit anywhere. Eventually puts the Ben to bed. Gets up the next morning, still no rabbit. 3 days later, because they're just moving into a new house, they're emptying boxes and stuff and setting things out. They decide, let's put the empty boxes up in the attic. Got the stairs down, went into the attic for the first time. There's a rabbit. How do you explain that?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Well, that's just she found the rabbit in the attic and nobody'd been in the attic. So how did the little loppy-eared rabbit get into the attic? It's just moving stuff around, like your tools.
Yeah.
No explanation for us. Weird. But hey, good to talk to you, John. Thank you very much.
I've got one snippet if you want it.
Yeah, give me your snippet.
Alan, do you know much about the clicking dolls of fence houses?
Very little. Tell me more.
Well, it was in the press in the mid 70s. There was a couple of women out for a walk, and there was a small oval object, and a couple of small beings came out of it with big eyes that looked like dolls. They looked like dolls. Mm-hmm. As I say, it was in the press in the 70s. I can remember it. And the one of them was an elderly lady, and the other one was her daughter. It was about 1976.
Right.
And these clicking dolls had large round eyes.
Right.
And they seemed startled when they saw these two women, and they scurried away. And I was just wondering if anybody had ever elaborated on that story. I remember reading it in the 70s.
Right, get you. No, I don't remember it at all. But if anybody else has memories of that, or if you were around at the time,
it was called the Clicking Dolls. That was the article in the press.
Dolls. Okay, man. Thanks again. Cheers, John.
Yeah, cheerio.
All the best, man. Bye-bye. Hey, wonderful. What a mixture we've had tonight, of all kinds. That Mary Wilson story, though, is just sickening, isn't it? 01914 888 3188. Let's head to Chelsea. Got Peter there. Hello, Peter.
Yes, good morning. Alan, can you hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear.
Yeah, what's your opinion on the health tax, It's going to hit poor families harder.
It is. No, absolutely. And there's 2 or 3 tax or similar related things. One's the pension. Everybody was supposed to get £7 more pension, as if pension's a massive amount already. It isn't. And we're hearing that new taxes are going to hit us left, right and centre over the next few months. What's your view on it all then?
Keir Starmer has got plans on taxing landlords,
Yes.
Well, that's going to hit the more vulnerable, people who can't afford to pay the rent, etc., because obviously the landlord will put the prices up.
It's inevitable, isn't it? You say, we're going to make it a landlord tax so that landlords will pay it, but they're not going to pay it from their own money. They're just going to say your rent it used to be £70, now it's £90 or whatever, just to cover whatever else they've got to pay. It's always the hardest, it's always the poorest that get hardest hit.
Keir Starmer, he was talking on the television last year, he was saying he couldn't afford to pay his telephone bill, etc.
Right.
So he's got land worth over 11 million. Next is £1 million house in Sussex,
Yeah.
He just made so much.
How big's his telephone bill that 11 million won't cover it? I mean, who the hell's he been ringing?
So Alan. No, I'm saying it's rich MPs blaming other rich MPs for the reason people are poor. Yeah. They're hypocritical,
Well, it's just they don't live the same lives that normal people do, so they've got no idea, have they, really?
I've got more faith in Boris Johnson, to be honest.
Really?
I'm grateful for the vaccine,
Right, okay.
There's a lot of people from a horrific COVID death,
Right.
I'm grateful to be here.
Well, no, that's I'm grateful that you're well too. But hey, lovely talking to you.
I've been listening to some nice bands on the television tonight.
Oh, have you? Who you been listening to?
Eric Clapton, Leila, etc.
Yeah, he's great.
On my knees, and I was listening to R.E.M.
Right. Aha.
Everybody hurts.
Absolutely, that's a fact.
Good. Really nice. He was at the Isle of Wight. And Eric Clapton, he was in California live.
Right, great. Aye, good music. Must move on, Pete, but lovely talking to you. Thanks, man.
What's his name?
What?
Phil Collins the other day on the television.
Oh, he looked rough, didn't he? Bless him.
He's gone back.
I know. I love Phil as well. I've managed to interview him a few times, and he's sparkled, and he's looking worn. Bless him. It happens to us all, but he did look like he'd had a hard paper round.
Yeah. Well, you see, I'm the youngest of 7,
Right.
And, there was always music played when I was a kid, in the 60s.
That's good. And it's good music too in the 60s.
I used to say, I remember when I was about 4-year-old, I said, the Stones.
Right.
The Beatles. I said, I like them, you know.
Yeah. There's still people arguing about them. Peter, thank you very much. As I say, must move on, but good talking to you. 0191 488 3188. Now, we were talking to somebody in Canada, in Vancouver, not so very long ago. We've got Ian now from Saskatchewan in Canada. We have the Canucks with us, big style. Hi, Ian.
Hello there, how you doing?
I'm good. It's the most northeastern sounding Canadian I've ever spoken to. Good to have you back, Ian.
I'm pleased I could actually say Saskatchewan. It's one of the hardest words to say.
Right, what you got for me then, Ian?
Okay, just another one on ghosts tonight.
Okay.
I've been doing them investigations off and on for about 26 years now.
Right, brilliant.
And it's took 25 years. I've never caught anything.
Right.
Just the odd this and that, you know. But just January this year, I've been doing a residential case on a property just outside the city here. I'll not say where it is, just to protect the owner's privacy.
Sure.
But it's the first one that I've actually caught evidence.
What is it you've got then? What have you found?
Well, the first thing they've actually caught a dog in the property,
right?
Which they don't own any pets. It was the security camera in the living room that caught it on the motion sensor.
It's not the ghost dog I've just heard in the background, is it?
No, that's
your dog.
Right. Yeah, just ignore that one. It's a big dog. I'm not going to argue with it. Yeah, but they caught a dog on the footage.
Right.
They sent that out to us and asked us if I would go in and take a look.
Right.
And when I did the ghost tube app on a phone, I used that and it brought out a name of Ethan. And 2 days later, the owners who did a bit of homework, they said that a boy, 10-year-old by the same name, was killed on the railway line just outside the house 5 years ago. Whoa. 5 or 6 years previous.
How about that?
So that raised my eyebrows. So I went back in, did another investigation. I've done about 6 up to now. And I've caught I had motion sensors, infrared motion sensors upstairs,
right,
pointing at 2 bedrooms opposite each other. And it appears every time we're downstairs, something is running back and forwards, triggering the motion sensors. And as soon as we go up, it stops. And then as soon as we go back downstairs, it's doing the same again.
Wow, right.
And then we've also caught the whole house was shut down. The power was off by the breaker switch. The water was turned off, everything. It was during the night.
Right.
And when we went outside, there was a train passing. So that was noise contamination.
Right.
So we left the cameras running. We went outside. And the video footage caught somebody opening the right-hand side curtain for about a minute, holding the curtain open and then dropping the curtain.
Fantastic.
Which is, I've never seen anything like that. And the EVPs that were caught is unbelievable.
Right. What are they saying?
I've always been trying to catch EVPs.
Yeah. What did you get anything of substance on the EVPs?
Well, obviously intelligence is what we're looking for, anything that's got like intelligence.
Absolutely.
But we did an SB7 spirit box session upstairs in the dark. And it's actually caught a demonic voice, which I've put on my YouTube channel.
Whoa.
Just to see what other people think, but I've obviously stopped the investigation at that point because that's something I'm really uncomfortable with.
So how do they get to find your channel so they can all have a look then?
It's Pro Team Paranormal Response.
Pro Team Paranormal Response. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's got next to nothing on there because I'm not one of these who does all these fantastic videos, like 1 hour show things, Sure. Everything I get's legit. If it's not legit, if I can't debunk it, then it obviously doesn't go up on there.
Right. Now I understand.
But there is a few bits and pieces up there from the property.
Great. Oh, well, let's everybody have a look.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got the footage on of the curtain. I'll have to take a look. If not, I might see if I can put that up there.
Oh, yes. Well, send us a copy. Let's have a look at it. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But like I'm saying to people, if you're ever doing this, just give it time. It's took me 25 years.
No, absolutely.
But obviously, just give it time and you will hit that one location.
Brilliant. Hey, good stuff. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah. Okay, it's good.
All the
Thanks
best.
very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Well, absolutely. Going to do that. And quick piece of music, and then let's rock on. We are Greatest Hits Radio after all, so let's hit.
Rookie aspect to it. Listen. There's voices are all around us here, all around us.
Oh, look at that cross up there. Yeah, me.
That's amazing.
Isn't it? There's voices there. There's definitely voices there. Oh, somebody's coming in then. Look.
Where? Where?
There.
Oh, there's more people with torches.
And a dog.
So we're not going to be alone. That's humans. Watch your step, Tony. That's amazing. Let's go and see what that is. Oh, I know what that is. This was something I was said to look out for. Tony, do you want to get in there? And I'll tell you a fact or two about it. Get up close and it'll show you it's we've got a dog coming up, but that's what you want to be looking at, Tony. Now the story is three men, 4 boys burned to death September 1828. On November the 11th, 1850, a massive explosion. It was so vicious that all of the bodies had no heads, arms or legs. And also, hang on, there's dog about. On the 3rd of July, 1885, 12 people were killed with an explosion. And the explosion was so fierce, apparently, the only way they could remove the bodies was by carrying the pieces out in buckets. So when you see something like this, obviously still treasured beautifully with a poppy wreath in memory of those who lost their lives at Houghton College between 1823 and 1981, and also to the others who lie here in unmarked graves. Amazing. Just watch your step as you come down, Kenny. So we have our first tribute. I knew that there would be one of these, and I'm so glad it looks as beautiful as it does. Pays tribute to all of those people from our family. I don't know whether your family also had people that went to the pit, but a lot of mine were. So that's the situation. And we have more places to go, but we've got some members of the public here as well. So we're going to just have to take it easy and take it slow and make our way around. See how much further we can actually go. Shush! Shit. That's all right. Really funny. Kenny's just telling everybody what it is that we're doing. I'm surrounded by dogs and heading off, and apologies for this, but there's nothing we can do anything about. It's a public place and the public come, and
Bella's leaving.
So do their dogs.
That's the dog.
Love Alan.
So sorry about that, everybody. Nothing you can do about it.
You could probably do some night vision. It would say as though the rain stopped.
They were saying there's a spiritualist comes here and always pick up the same name. John or Joseph Hall. Always get that name.
Joseph
Comes
Hall.
up all the time. Yeah.
We'll see if he comes up tonight. Kenny, I would go down there. I'll be careful though. Watch your feet.
Right.
It goes down and I see some mist and some kind of smokiness. Is there anything I can carry while you're... Do you want me to go double-barreled with a torch?
All right.
That's what I mean. Well, I'll take the big torch. So you can...
big torch. Yep.
Got it.
We've got the horses next door. No, wondering what it was.
Do we scare the horse?
Scare the horse? That dog?
Oh, God, the dog.
Sheep it. It's right beside me.
Yeah.
Can you manage?
Just about.
You'll get all the night vision footage after this.
Okay.
After this part.
Go down there and get it.
So I'm going to knock one off, and I'm going to try and see if we can get anything on the radar, the ghost radar. See what happens. Now that, yeah, of course. Well, let's try a bit of necromancer first. Right, come on.
Is Kenny away with the night vision?
What was the name, Kenny? John Hall. John Hall's grave I saw when we came in. It's lying flat on the ground in the middle.
Underpass? Oh, yeah, I think I'm...
Whoever's here, speak to us. Speak to us. What's your name? Tell me your names. Are you buried here? Are you buried here? Did you die in the colliery? Did you die in the colliery? Yes. Was there an explosion?
Alan Robson's Night Owls.
The phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And we have James, who is in Wolverhampton. Hello, James.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for calling. What you got for us, mate?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I actually saw on the news that there was this little puppy, right? Mm-hmm. It had been swung around by its legs. Then it had been dropped on the floor, and these lads actually kicked it to death. And they actually showed you the picture of it on the news as well.
That's
it was disgusting. It was heartbreaking, actually.
Yeah.
It was only about a 6-month-old puppy, and it wouldn't hurt a fly. And that happened to it. I was disgusted with it, honestly.
Yeah.
But the blokes that did it actually run away, and they still haven't caught them.
Right.
Police haven't caught them. But it's disgusting, hurting a poor innocent animal that can't defend itself. It's just so disgusting. It sends shivers and rage from up through the whole of my body.
No, for sure. And you hear all these stories about people who start to torture animals, eventually, sadly, quite often move to hurting individuals, and that can lead to a lot of dark places. No, it just doesn't bear thinking about.
No. I mean, it made me very angry, very angry. I mean, it's like, how would they feel if they had it done to them? They wouldn't like it.
No, they don't. These people don't think, though, do they? That's the thing.
No, they don't think. The brains are in the trousers. Sorry to say that.
That's all right.
The brains are in the trousers and nowhere else.
Yeah, it's very sad. Very sad. Anything else then?
Yes. Are you back on 7 nights a week now, or are you
No.
back on?
No, I'm still here on a Sunday.
Still here on a Sunday, are you? Right. Okie dokie. Is there any talk of you coming back on 7 nights? Well, 5 nights a week?
No, there's not even a hint, not a sniff.
Not even a sniff. That's
No.
a shame. Well, get your bosses told that you want to come back on 5 nights a week.
All right, man, will do. Hey, well, thank you for calling. Cheers, James.
It's okay. Cheers, Alan.
All the best. Bye-bye. Oh, I'll tell him. 0191488 3188. They have very distinct ideas of where everything's happening, so leave them to it. We wish them well, and we thank them for giving me a Sunday. But remember, it sets me free on a Thursday and a Friday to get some ghosty hab-nabs done, which is cool. And our Tuesday night gathering too for supporters. 01914 488 3188. Get your calls in. Still not very successful with our competitions. There's something very specific. You have to be... can I just say to, I think it was Leah. Leah, you're on the right track. Just you haven't said the magic words. That's the thing. And Michelle from Kenton thinks they've all won Golden Globes. Andrew from North Shields thinks they're traffic lights. So we got a lot of wrong. We could do with more right. So have another thought. A sweet greatest hit that's a warm drink. Brian Adams' greatest hit, Everything I Do, comes from a film about this hero. Third clue, the coolest Madonna greatest hits. Go down all right hits. And the fourth clue, Angela Lansbury. Her only greatest hit. There's 4 clues. See what you can do. We've got Neil from Gateshead now too. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Alan. You all right?
Yes, I'm good, man. Thanks for calling in. What you got for us?
It's basically it's regarding a few ghost experiences I've had
Ooh.
over like the last 10 years.
Yeah, go for it. What's been the most vivid then?
Well, it's all been the same person. My dad died 10 years ago, and I used to the first house I lived in just after he passed away. Me, my partner, and a few friends who'd been in my house could smell a real strong stale of urine because my dad had prostate cancer.
Oh, bless him. Wow.
And this my dad died in a hospice like 10, 15 miles away. But this smell went on for weeks and weeks, and it was so strong, and loads of people were commenting on it who were coming to the house. And then about, I would say, over like the last 2 years, my dad appeared in the doorway between my sitting room and my kitchen, but he's not old and thin. Like when he died,
right?
It's like when it must be like when they pass over, they go back to when they were in their younger years, when they were healthy and he had a full head of hair, his big thick rimmed glasses, and I could smell the pipe tobacco in my sitting room.
How about that? I mean, that must make you feel amazing, man, that your dad's still about.
Yeah. It's been about 5 or 6 times over the years,
Fantastic.
And even my mum's experienced things in the house, like she's got like an extractor fan that's on the top of the stairs for the bathroom, and nobody can reach it. And every few weeks, she'll find that the extractor fan's been turned off.
Right. I was so tempted, to say she must be thrilled as well to know that after all these years he's still interested in a fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
But I mean, in real terms, though, the fact that was one of his jobs, a beloved job between, come on, I can't reach it, you've got to sort that out. That might be his way of sending a message through to her.
Yeah, that's what my mum thinks, and it really comforts her, knowing that he's in the house, keeping an eye on her.
Fantastic.
Because a few years ago I had a massive nervous breakdown because I'd kept it all pent up for so many years, and then I just broke down at work in front of everybody, and I had lots of time off work through it. But
how have you managed to pull it all together then? Because if that was your nature, to be that kind of pent up, how did you free yourself from all of that?
I went to see a spiritualist.
Right. What did they do?
And my dad came, they didn't know me from Adam.
Right.
And basically, so the stuff that they said, he came through 3 times over a period of about 2 months.
Right.
And they were just picking up on stuff that my dad would do and would say, and nobody else would know that. Only me.
Right.
And I think that was the point where I was able to move forward and knowing that he's happy where he is.
Right.
And that, when my time comes, I'm going to be with him again.
Right.
So, and that's the way I look on life now. And I've had a lot of support from my partner as well. And she's kept me going, over the years, telling us he's watching over you, he's proud of you and stuff like that. And it's just, I've even got a photograph of in my old house where we used to have blackout blinds, and this was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning,
right? And
there was no light coming under the door or through the windows,
right?
And I've got the photograph, and there's like an orb floating around in my bedroom, and I managed to photograph it, and I've kept it on my phone, and I'm sure when I like zoom the orb out, I can see my dad's face in the orb.
What's the chances? That's the chances of that.
It just and I've experienced a lot of things over the years, in places where I've worked and when people say there's no such things as spirits or ghosts, I just think that it's just their way of trying to be skeptical and disbelievers. But
right.
I've seen too many things during my life that makes me believe. So nobody else ever be able to say that it doesn't exist. So
no, it's always the case though that if you haven't seen anything yourself, it takes you seeing it to believe it, because most people won't. It doesn't matter how much you tell them. They've got to experience for themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, of course they do. And when it does happen, it's so exhilarating, that feeling, like when I used to. There's been numerous times when I've walked through my house and then I get this cold sensation. It just goes right through us.
Right.
And like the hairs on my arms, my goose pimples are really prominent. And it's just, it's something I believe in, and I think it's.
It's doing good for you.
I'd love to go somewhere like Chillingham Castle, but I know that there used to be a place called the Lord Crew Arms. I think it was in Blanchland.
Blanchland still there. The home of Dorothy Foster's spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go up there.
Wait, get a letter in. We're running out of time, mate. But get a letter in, and thank you very much for calling. You never know. We haven't done the Lord Crew on screen yet, so it's due. Good talking to you, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Alan.
You're welcome, Bob. Bye. All the best. And for those of you that's managed to stay up following the Great North, absolute respect to you. And until we are together again, it is time we play a corking bit of music. You have 3 minutes to answer this quiz correctly. Dip your bread.